All right, everybody, welcome to Mana Traders coverage here, and it is Sunday, which means it is
A
top
fun
8
day.
time. Sunday fun day, but also the top 8 of the Mana Traders series here featuring Pioneer. I'm Corey Ballmeister. That's Brad Nelson. We're going to be bringing you all the coverage here of the top 8, and we're going to be giving away a ton of money, bro.
Yep.
We're going to give away 3K up top, 2K for second, scaling down. But not only that, we're going to be giving away qualification into this final December tournament, which that's this big game to play in.
We've been talking about, the December Invitational since January, actually,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
And it does seem pretty poetic because, Game of Thrones came out with a new show and winter is coming.
Oh, God.
We are 3 months away from that December Invitational. 3 months.
I know my brother far too well, and there was a look of mischief in his face there, so I knew something was coming there. So, yeah, I guess we got winter is coming. So, sounds great. We're going to be bringing you coverage of that event as well, but we're going to be taking our focus on this event. Basically, this was such a kind of weird event in the sense that it was an 8-round tournament, but with a lot of players. So you had to be X1 to make it in. We were talking all day yesterday where the 3 6-0 players were like, yeah, they're pretty much locked. Had to eat my words on that one.
Yep.
Only one of them made it to the top 8. One of them took 9th, one of them took 10th because they both lost their next 2 rounds. So really brutal fashion as well as far as our Harry versus Mountain Man match.
That was the match of day one by far.
Go back and watch that on the VOD or something, but yeah, that was brutal.
You can watch the VOD on Twitch or it'll be uploaded later on YouTube.
On my YouTube channel,
That is one of the best matches I've seen on the Mana Trader series so far.
Yeah, you just love
Unbelievable.
You love just people luck sucking their way out. We even saw Harry in chat was just felt like so lucky to actually make it to it. Yeah. Of course, they played excellent. Harry played awesome all weekend, and that is actually going to be the first person we're going to watch, but a little more on that a little later.
It was just 3 awesome games of Magic.
It was
very good, but
yeah.
So I want to recap before we get into these decks.
Give us a recap.
I know we don't have a ton of time before the matches start in 7 minutes.
Yeah.
But we came into this weekend. What are the top decks?
Mono Green was the number 1 at 21% for sure.
Rakdos
followed by
2.
Rakdos, yeah.
Yeah, and those were what everyone on the internet says were the best decks.
Everyone.
What have we seen on the Mana Trader series every single month?
Well, upsets, underdogs?
Yes, yes.
Magic?
There's actual tons of competitive players not playing on labs or leagues, and they come with the tech. They come with the decks to attack the metagames. Yes. And almost every single weekend, we take what we think is the most convincing best archetypes in the format, flip it on the head, and the top 8 is different. And we see that this weekend.
Yeah.
There's not a single Devotion deck, not a single Rakdos deck, not even a Greasevein deck.
Unreal, right?
Yeah.
Honestly, yeah, this was the story of basically the color white. I'm looking at it, and there's only one deck that doesn't play white mana symbols, and that is our 8th place person who snuck in. It was a clean cut at Mono Red, but the story of the weekend is Mono White Humans. Mono White Humans has 3 copies into the top 8, which is incredibly impressive. So first, let's take a look at the bracket and take a little look what we're going to be bringing you for coverage today. So looking at this here, Harry 13 is not the number 1 seed as it is. All these players were 7-1, but Harry 13 did go 7-0. Scoop the last round to avoid the content curse, bro. Let's get real. If you go 8-0, you're not winning a tournament.
It's also exactly what I've done in tournaments where I've gotten to that spot where everyone's like, you should just win out, right? And I'm like, no, I want to eat and I want to eat now. I'm hungry. It's been an exhausting day.
Yes.
Get some food in my belly. And that's exactly what Harry said in chat yesterday.
Yeah.
Wanted to eat sooner. But yeah, dominated with a 7-0 with Blue Eye Control. And they're going to be up against Mono White Humans, which has 3 copies in the top 8.
3 copies. So first, this is the bracket. We're going to we're going to continue to show you this throughout our top 8, but now we're going to take a look at Harry 13 and Kuvaza. Sorry if I'm butchering that as far as the name. Their list, that's going to be what we focus on for the quarterfinals here. So this is Harry 13's blue-white control deck. This is non-Yorion. The other blue-white control deck we're going to see in the top 8 does play Yorion, so a little bit of variation here. But so far, Harry played amazing and has this really interesting list with all these one-of bros. Tell me especially about like the Foretell sweep, because I think that's the most exciting thing about this.
Yeah, I mean, Harry not only went 7-0 yesterday, the only loss was a concession. And what I like about this deck list is there's a little bit weaker options that foretell to disguise all of the foretell options. And that's what I really like about this deck, because you've got the Behold that could be a Memory Deluge. You've got the Saw It Coming that could be the Absorb. And then finally, you have the Doomscar that could be another Wrath of God effect in Supreme Verdict. But these all help disguise each other, have a lot of instant interactions. And then also we've got that Starheim Unleashed.
Yeah, we cannot forget that one.
We've seen that cast twice in dominating fashion in sideboard games. Dominating. Yeah. And so I really like this package. I like this deck list. And it really shines a light in the have a couple outs that no other card has, so you can always play to it. This is really the Seth Manfield mindset from our old testing partner.
Yep.
Which always wanted to be drawing to an out.
Mm-hmm.
And this deck has that with the 1 Detention Sphere, the 1 Fateful Absence. So when, because you have the Fateful Absence in hand, you can play the Teferi and untap because you have that out for that option.
So, bro, do you think this list would look really different if this was a closed deck list tournament as far as an open deck list tournament? Like, even looking at the sideboard, we see one of. Do you think it would look different if this was a closed deck, or would this still be the configuration?
So it's really tough for me. I'm gonna do a yes and.
Okay. We like yes ands for coverage, absolutely.
And so yes, I believe there would be changes. I wouldn't know what they would be because Harry is the Azorius control specialist, and it would take me a long time to figure out the intricacies of how I'd want to construct a deck for open and closed.
Okay.
But what I'm going to say is, if you're not on that wavelength when you're playing in tournaments, if you're in the Magic Series, or if you're going to play in an RCQ where it's closed deck list, you should be having that on your mind with how open deck lists influence not only what your opponents are playing, but what they're going to do based on what you have.
Exactly. It really does change the dynamic. And, you've been kind of playing open deck list tournaments for a long time here in the digital era since COVID with all the set championships. So, all right, let's take a look at Harry 13's opponent here, which is the breakout deck of this tournament for sure. Mono white aggro here. There's a lot of different variations. But yeah, Brad, talk to me a little bit about this version of mono white.
All right, so mono white aggro in this format is really just trying to get under a lot of these linear strategies as well as the control strategy, and that's all on the back of Brave the Elements.
So good.
Brave the Elements is able to give protection from a single color to all of your white creatures in play, and that's going to help get through the green devotion, kill the planeswalkers before they can combo off, or just get through for lethal damage. It's also just a streamlined, efficient creature package. And one of the issues that a lot of people have brought up for the last 5 years of card design is stop printing humans. Because every time you print a human, it just gets slotted into a mono white humans deck.
Oh, yeah.
And we have that right now. There's a lot of new cards, a lot of old cards. Just all of the best humans that have been printed in the last 8 years are showing up in this deck list, except for our friend Ross, another co-commentator. Is a Thraben Inspector fan.
I'm so glad you brought that up because I double checked all the lists and made sure there was zero Thraben Inspectors. So, I mean, honestly, I think we can confidently say on coverage, Ross is wrong yet again.
Yeah, it's also not that impactful of a thing because everyone in chat is going like, yeah, we knew that.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Even Ross is in chat like, you know what? Respect. Yeah.
Look, you still own my marbles. I get it.
Yeah. Absolutely. I sure do. So yeah, mono white aggro, we're going to see a lot of this style of version, some different cards as far as like playing a one of Thalia, stuff like that. So this is the match we're going to be focusing on, but let's take a look at some of the other matchups here and other deck lists in the top 8.
So we're going to be starting off with this one, but what I'm most excited, if we can actually go to the Bant Humans, is that possible? Because I want to talk about who's on the other side of the bracket. And the other interesting matchup that's happening in top 8 is Bant Humans versus Mono Red, because they're literally
Bant Spirits, right?
Sorry, Bant Spirits versus Mono Red.
Yeah.
Because they're practically the only two other archetypes.
Yeah, kind of. And honestly, that Boros Heroic that we just saw for a split set, that was who Harry scooped in. So this player did go 6-1. The player technically with the worst record, but still snuck in. But yeah, this is banned spirits. You know, we did see a little bit of banned humans and stuff in the metagame, but ended up being spirits is still the go-to deck. And yeah, this is just really all about lords. It's about collected company. You have disruption. You know, you have Shacklegeist, which is an incredible card against other aggressive
Mhm.
decks. Like, what else do you really love about this deck, bro?
Nothing. I hate this deck.
Do you?
Oh yeah, because it's so annoying to play against, and all the decks I always play against or play with are just terrible against Man Spirits.
I know. Even
Now,
yeah,
I'm gonna say if I like being honest with coverage, it's probably why I'm not gonna get invited back later.
yeah.
But I'm just being honest. I hate Man Spirits.
Yeah, I feel you. I feel you on that. So it sounds like our players might be ready. We're going to look at some of the rest of the decks here as this tournament progresses, but sounds like we might be ready for our first quarterfinal match. So let's get into it, bro.
Exciting. All right, so we're seeing. We got to figure
I'm
out.
excited, Brad. I'm really excited for this top 8.
I am too, and from the looks of it, waiting on Harry could be for mulligans or to make the first play.
Yeah, not sure. So the one thing, Harry looks like we did mulligan to 6 for Harry. We're deciding on this keep now, which looks not great, to be honest. It's probably a keeper when you're already to 6. But the one thing about the Mana Trader series when it comes to play draw, it is just open. You know, we are not
Yes.
fixed seeding. So, you know, going in as the number 1 seed doesn't really matter. But you know what? Sometimes that would grind my gears if like there's an 8-0 and there's some 6-2s that sneak in when they're all 7-1 and it's all tiebreakers and stuff. Who cares? Like I like flipping the coin on this exact top 8 scenario.
Well, in all honesty, I think their decision-making process for this was a reflection of Magic Online, and I think that's the best decision they could possibly make.
Yeah.
This is how Magic Online leagues and things of that nature play out.
Yeah.
And so like they went with the exact same structure.
Exactly. Because yeah, when you make the top 8 of a Pioneer Challenge, so I'm told, it's just play draw, whatever happens, you know?
Exactly,
Yeah,
yeah.
but all right, getting into the game, we have Kithian coming here for the turn 1 play from our mono white player with a solid opening hand. You have Mutavault, you have some 2-drops, you have Giant Killer, which is a small number card, as well as Brutal Cathars to deal with some creatures. Maybe not the most aggressive hand, but on the other side, Harry is looking at all blue sources, no white sources for Wandering Emperor, Fateful Absence, and Teferi. So as it stands right now, Harry's hand has a lot of uncastables, bro.
Yeah, there's a lot of issues on Harry's side, and there's also a benefit that Giant Killer is not going to be that great for game 1 on the
It has no
chop
targets,
down,
right?
the chop down side.
Yeah.
Well, a shark type,
A shark.
right?
Yeah.
But it's able to give that 1-drop a spark and turn into a Gideon on turn 3 with an attack.
Yeah.
So the decision right here is: do you want to get that Luminar Aspirant starter, or do you want to get 2 creatures on the board? And I'm on the side of get those 2 creatures on the board. To be fair, there's a Mutavault that can also make that decision.
True. Yeah, that's a good point because yeah, you could go Luminarch Aspirant attack for 3, and then next turn animate Mutavault, you know, get that in there and then play a 1-drop. But I kind of like the decision too to just play this. And the flip side of Kithian, we kind of saw we're like we had to reread Kithian and we're like, yeah, this card isn't that good. But when you're looking at it in the sense of against a blue-white control deck that heavily
yeah.
relies on not only Farewell or Supreme Verdict, it's excellent. It has to be the best that it can be against a control deck.
Oh, and it'll be unbelievable. I mean,
Yeah.
it still can get hit by the Wandering Emperor, which is a huge upgrade, and
Yeah,
exile
true.
effects once it's animated.
Yep.
But you also can play around that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and right now, like we were saying, no white source. You do see Mutavault being played now, so next turn Harry can go Field of Ruin the Mutavault and then Portable Hole something as a decent play. But I mean, look at this pressure here. This is brutal. The nice thing you can do with Luminar Aspirant is you get 2 counters here because you put one on Giant Killer and then attack, and you get one on Hopeful Initiate. I guess you already get one with
Yep.
Kithian, but still a nice little cute aspect here to work with the training mechanic.
Well, it's just the best sequencing because you don't want to put that counter on Kithian because it's going to just fall off.
Yeah,
once it
that's a good
transforms.
point. Yeah, absolutely.
All right. Gideon now is here, going to tick up on nothing. And I mean, this is just a tough spot because interaction has to start happening.
And not only ticking up on like nothing, you know, it doesn't really matter for the tick up ability, but giving a creature indestructible against the Supreme Verdict deck is also pretty nice.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah. And we are also going to see now, think about this portable hole, bro. If you don't portable hole Hopeful Initiate, then Gideon attacks for 4 and you get to just remove counters from a creature. I think you can remove loyalty counters from Gideon when it's a creature.
No, it has to be +1/+1.
It
counters.
is +1. Okay, okay. So you can remove +1/+1s, but you'll get 2 on Hopeful Initiate. So you could get that back down to 0 and kill it if Kithian or anything else gets taken. So, yeah.
And they can get removed here and then just pump back up too.
The one thing about that, though, is the fact that if you deal with Portable Hole, it comes back as a Kithian, not a Gideon. So don't really have Wrath protection for this turn. So right now, our mono white player is like, okay, please don't have white source Supreme Verdict because that would be detrimental. And we have the white source locked up with Pathway. So if we can draw Supreme Verdict, all of a sudden, Harry is looking great. But if we don't draw it, the game is basically over.
Yeah.
I mean, we do have Wandering Emperor here to do a little bit of something.
It won't be enough.
Depends.
7 life, maybe it will actually.
I think it will be to stay alive. Like you probably activate a Hopeful Initiate here, and then you just wait till combat, and then whatever the largest creature is, you Wandering Emperor.
I mean, it depends on if the desert gets activated.
That's a good point.
If the desert gets activated, which will get +1/+1 to everything.
I mean, why not here? Are you going to play Brutal Cathar? Hell no.
I mean, you literally can just play around the Wandering Emperor right now by activating it.
Yeah, let's see, because you get the counters. Hopeful Initiate's not going to be training, so your biggest target is going to be Hopeful Initiate. You get rid of that. That evens out Luminarch Aspirant. That means 3, 4, 5. Yeah, I mean, Harry can survive here.
How?
3, 4, 5, 6. Oh no, it's Exacties, isn't it?
It should be because the counter goes on the Giant Killer and then it attacks, and that'll be a trigger for a counter. So it'll be 4, 5, 6, 7.
As long as they put it on the Luminarch Aspirant, I guess. Actually, it doesn't really matter.
No, it should go on the Giant Killer because then that'll trigger for the Hopeful Initiate.
If training triggers on the stack and then you deal with the creature, it still gets a counter. It's last known information, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Exactly.
Okay. Yeah, that's GG. No point in even showing Wandering Emperor, I would assume. And yeah, mono white on the play, taking down a game where they have Brutal Cathars in, where they have Giant Killers. That's kind of bad news bears.
They also have a bunch of 1-drops that turn into Planeswalkers and lands that dealt damage. So
yeah, that's true. That's true. And Harry's control deck has a bunch of counter spells that you probably want taken out. So, all right, bro, it seems like blue-white control is usually a deck that's pretty good up against aggressive decks with a lot of removal in the main. But like, what do they bring in?
You sweet summer child. Going back to that Game of Thrones lore.
Okay.
So the thing about blue-white control, and I've been playing a lot of it lately, is build your deck to be good against certain things. Your main deck, you can make decisions against decks like Phoenix, Control, not aggressive decks, and then other decks, kind of all like Rakdos, Dotsy strategies.
Yeah.
And so this deck list does feel like it has the least amount of cards for a matchup like this.
Yeah, because
it only has 2 Supreme Verdict.
It feels like they're already in the main, right? Like I don't see a single one of those cards except maybe Lyra and Dream Trawler I want to bring in, but like they're only okay. Like,
exactly, and that's just it. Yeah, they're here. You know, Dovin's Veto is a card that you're going to want to take your deck. I also hate counter spells in a match like this. So,
but you have to leave them in.
There's no other option.
There's no other option. And on the play, Absorb can be fine, but exactly fine. You know,
I mean, it's so bad.
I mean, I totally agree. I would want to take it out if there were like, you know, just 2 more Supreme Verdicts in the board, something like that in an ideal world. But yeah, not really a lot that you want to bring in. So I would assume Harry is not pleased about this matchup and also not pleased about losing the die roll. That seemed really important, but I don't know if Harry was winning that on the play either, to be honest. No, it didn't look good.
It seemed tough. I mean, that fair might be able to draw him into a million things because that's what we saw in that 7th round yesterday.
Yeah, no kidding. Let's take a look at Harry's opponent here as far as the list while they're still sideboarding. And as far as what you bring in here, I'm seeing Selfless Spirit looks great. Redain looks pretty good. Even that other, no, I wouldn't bring in the Extraction Specialist, but Selfless Spirit and Redain, 2 cards that stand out to me. And probably that's it, right?
I mean, I would probably bring it in, right? Because maybe you keep some brute cars and things
but
like that.
But they just have so much exile effects. They have portable holes and stuff. So Extraction Specialist, just 3 mana, 3/2 half the time. But
that's true. And I was thinking that I'd see the Brazen Borrower come in, even though there's not a lot of creatures to block.
Yeah. Yeah, almost none, but just something
to
interact.
Yeah.
So we see Harry probably keeping this hand. We got white mana this time. You have a turn 2 Foretell for Behold, and then kind of set up your draw from that. And we see Kavuza coming in with, really all you can hope for, 1 into 2. Hopeful Initiate into Luminar Gasprint. That's fine. A little bit too many lands. When you have 4 lands from the mono white side, you really want to pair it with something like a Mutavault to give yourself a little extra reach. We have that Shafet Dunes, but just okay there. And the one thing about Brave the Elements is it doesn't protect against wrath effects from blue-white. It does protect against wrath effects from, let's say, Phoenix with like Anger the Gods, but a lot less effective here. So probably a card that even Kavuza is not really happy to have in the deck, but maybe doesn't have enough for the matchup.
It's tough because sometimes you'll be able to get through a card like a Lyra or one of the creatures.
That's true.
It's a huge way to beat a card like the Wandering Emperor.
Oh, yeah.
Massive. Yeah. Lose that life, lose 2 loyalty, lose 4 mana and not interact with the board.
Yeah.
And it's not going to interact that well with the 1 mana removal spells because that's kind of how those interactions play out.
Yeah.
But yeah, beating a Wandering Emperor with a 1 mana spell is usually going to be the game.
And honestly, though, even saying beating, in quotations, like it deals with the negative ability, which is pretty popular, but then you still have to still deal with it. That just shows the power of the Wandering Emperor. Like, honestly, one of the main cards that gives blue-white life to me because, you don't know if it's Memory Deluge or Wandering Emperor when you're playing against it. And if you guess wrong, it can be just game over with the tempo swing,
And one of the reasons why I fell in love with historic blue-white when I was playing
that's a good one off the top, bro.
That's insane. I mean, that'll probably get bounced, but yeah, that's an awesome draw.
Yeah, especially when you have Teferi, Wandering Emperor, and Verdict, but Brazen Bar are going to look pretty good here. At least either now. So this is going to be the option, bro. What do we think we're going to do? I think we're going to see Petty Theft. But then it's going to be, do you just Verdict right away? Or do you try to Wandering Emperor? Either way, that Redain is going to be messed up. Ooh, Absorb, but not the mana to cast it on Redain.
Yeah, that's brutal.
Field of Ruins against the old Triple Plains draw. Not great. Not great.
That is rough. And this is a tough spot to be in. Yeah, you can't cast any of your spells. So the Redain could come down now and that would force the Wandering Emperor.
It looks like Redain is going to completely eviscerate this game.
Yeah.
Just looking at the hand, even if you draw a land, it's land go. That's it. No matter what.
And here we're going to see it. This is going to exile something. Brave the Elements is going to stop all of that.
Oh, God.
We're going to see, if
Redain.
If Redain comes down, then it bricks the rest of the hand.
I'm going to say it. That's game. I do not see a way out of this outside of I guess Fateful Absence off the top to deal with Redain. Portable Hold doesn't do it. At least that helps. And you can get this Field of Ruin actually active to deal with Shafet Dunes. But, okay, we do have the Behold still in the Foretell zone. Admittedly, I kind of forgot about that one. But I guess you just need 2 lands.
No, the game's over, even with the Portable Hole. Oh, no, the Portable Hole plus the token is enough.
6, 7, 8. Yeah, we see. I don't think that hand is updated on top. Since we have 3 cards in hand, we're a little off on that. So not really sure what's in our mono white player's hand. But either way, yeah, looking great for the mono white player. We see 4 cards from Harry. It's not land 6 for Supreme Verdict, but that will be huge if we get it. So maybe I'll take back my that's game comment.
Yeah.
But still looking very strong.
Yeah, it's going to be a very big top deck next turn.
Yeah, holy cow. And reminder, everyone, the top 8 coverage of these Mana Traders events, we don't slow down the players that much at all. Maybe our main feature will slow down a little bit. We just let players play. So the one thing is you don't really want to blink here because you will just kind of miss coverage. So make sure to, always be aware that coverage is just going to go bang, bang, bang. This takes maybe an hour and a half, 2 hours tops. So make sure you're staying by to watch your favorite do well in coverage.
Wait, Alias is going to replace me?
Huh?
Alias is going to replace me?
Yeah, she doesn't live here, so you're safe for now. Yeah. All right, deep in the tank here.
I mean, it's a tough decision because there's probably options that we don't know about.
Yeah. Yeah, maybe we can try to get that top hand updated somehow. The hand software sometimes is not always perfect, but hey, we do the best we can. All right, so here comes 3 damage, a nice token spread here. So this is just a chump block. And we'll see what we got here for a follow-up play. Nice. There we go.
Oh, thank you.
There we go.
We got it.
We got it. It's Memory Deluge, Supreme Verdict, Narset, Dwari Disruption, the meme
Did you see the top deck of Star Hive Unleashed? The card that we were just talking up?
Not good. Not good at all. And
I mean, that portable hole can take care of the Luminarch Aspirant, and because they didn't progress their board.
So yeah, I think you portable hole, and then you also Field to Ruin the Shafet Dunes, and then Foretell. What else are you gonna do? You can't absorb and portable hole. Seems like the only play to me. And then Redain with 2 counters, I'm pretty sure is impossible to submit lethal. Because I guess double Luminarch, double Luminarch to finish it off. Or Brave the Elements right here is game.
Is it there? No.
Not there so far. Interesting play to not just show your hand here. Like, I don't like a defensive play here. You have to get lucky and draw something. Like, there's no bluff that's going to work here. If they have lethal, they're going to go for it. So I really like Field of Ruins, Shafet Dunes, and then Foretelling. Like,
yeah, it does seem like
and it frees up mana, colored mana for you. Like, so far, this has been the story of this game so far, is Harry has just not been able to cast his spells on time. And Field of Ruin, well, it's an amazing card. We even saw it against the Bant Humans deck yesterday, bro, where they didn't have a basic. And it was insane, right? But there are also matches where it's not great. This is one of them where it is a very good card because Mutavault is, still top 10 Magic cards in Pioneer, in my opinion. It's still an incredible card,
Well, the recent printing of Creature Lands introduced really good Creature Lands into Pioneer, and you just have to play Field of Ruins. As a blue-white player, a lot of times, those games you'll lose where you deal 1-for-1 with your opponent and you're trading resources. And then all of a sudden you're at a low life and you're about to stabilize, and they just have an animation that kills you.
Yeah. Oh, that's fair. I kind of forgot about Brazen Borrower as well. These other zones always get you. Okay, I like this play then. That is definitely defensible. And there is some thought to just like not Field of Ruining because you have less outs as far as lands go. But now with Mutavault coming down as well, it is scary. That's a Teferi on the top. And,
5. Oh wait, there's one castable, but
is there?
Well, there is.
Absorb?
It's absorb if a spell gets cast.
Yeah, if a spell doesn't get cast and they just attack, it's game. That's gonna be Kavuza moving to the top 4 and about to play a win-in for this December championship. Harry played great all weekend, but you know what? Being up against mono white aggro, awkward draws for game 2 on the draw, and then fine draws on the play, a mulligan, so maybe didn't have the white mana as fast as Harry could have possibly had. Mono white is a deck that is unforgiving.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. You will just get beat down if you have a bad draw here. Here comes Mutavault. And right now, Kavuza's like, what can you have? What can you have for essentially 3 mana? You can't cast Wandering Emperor. Can't be, Settle the Wreckage. 1, because it's not in the deck list. 2, because it is uncastable. It's like, what can you have? It's like double Fateful Absence, I guess.
Yeah.
I guess 1 Fateful Absence does do it. So that has to be a card on their radar. And if that was on their radar, Shafet Dunes locked it up from that. So I don't like not playing and activating Shafet Dunes because that was really the only card they could have had. And congratulations to Kavuza taking it down. And that's our first player making it to the semifinals here of the Mana Trader series. So we're going to take a look at the rest of our... We're going to take a look at the rest of our bracket here, refresh that, and see if we got anything else here. Well, Adrian on the back end tries to get us one of these backup matches, but as far as another match, Madi Sapras takes it down 2-0. I think that was another mono white
That's another
player.
mono white player was that took down Azur's Control. So both Azur's Control decks are out of the top 8.
And so what do you think, bro? It was 2-2-0s. Is it just a really bad matchup?
It has to
be. It seems like
well, it has to be because
Yeah.
so the removal spells that a blue white control deck will have against a mono white deck are not what you're going to want to line up against Rakdos and mono green, which is probably what they beat to get to this top 8, right?
Probably. Because, I mean, everyone was beating mono green and Rakdos to get here. They were, I mean, anybody who's just joining, we do not have a single mono green deck in the top 8 or a single Rakdos deck, which is just wild to me.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
But, I mean, but what we're seeing is the reason that this is happening is because Is It Phoenix is getting pushed on the metagame.
Yeah.
The decks that were pushed down by Phoenix are now in this top 8. And that, once Winota was taking on the format, this feels like a healthy format. This feels like it's going to be fun leading to the next 3 months of all of the regional championships.
Even coming from a diehard Devotion fan, where right now it feels like the most targeted deck, and it feels like it's not very good right now because it has such a target on its head. I love these metagames that constantly shift. You always got to look, you know?
How are you not more self-aware? You've been on this planet for 31 years.
Yeah.
You will find a shiny toy in 2 weeks, and Mono Green Devotion will just go and get cobwebs in the corner.
Get out.
You know that's how it's going to be.
We don't talk trash about old growth troll around here, okay? That is my pride and
How's
joy.
4-color elementals going?
Yeah, also bad. I've given up that one. I've given up that one as well. So it sounds like we might have our backup match ready to go, that we're going to head into one of these other players, if I did hear you right, Adrian. And let's check it out. So we're going to be checking out Fink 64, which is our number 1 seed. Once again, all these players are X1, so not that big of a deal. Bant Spirit up against our one non-white deck, bro, in mono red.
Yeah, the one deck that's not playing white spells in some variety.
Yeah.
And we've got Bant versus mono red. Now, Corey, do you actually know how this matchup plays out? I am not familiar really with this matchup. Now, I
would assume Spirits is heavily favored.
Okay.
I think multiple lords stacking up against a battlefield of red base removal seems very tough to deal with. And, you know, certain cards that they have, Play with Fire, Chain Whirler and stuff, there's a lot of big butts in Spirits. So I think it seems pretty rough for red, personally, but it doesn't seem like a 70-30 matchup to me, maybe a 60-40, you know?
Yeah, and so is it safe to say, now that's what I was thinking, is it safe to say that the winner of this match might highly influence, now that 2 white decks are in the top 4, how the rest of this tournament will play out? Because I'm under the impression that mono red is good against mono white.
I would think so.
Playing a bunch of chain whirlers.
Yes.
But Spirit seems like it might be behind, a little bit too slow.
Yeah, I think all these mono white players that we've already seen advance are really looking forward, or really looking for Bant to win. So Kavuza, who just won, will be playing the winner of this. So I think Kavuza, you know, might be really rooting for Spirits, which I don't think is necessarily a auto win matchup for mono white either. It could be, Kavuza could be a dog against either. You know, Collected Company into some, you know, exile effects against white seems insane. But I would think mono red is going to be really favored. So Brad, break down this this board state a little bit here now that we're just jumping into it.
Yeah, now that I'm looking through the deck list just to confirm, it does seem like we are guaranteed in a sideboarded game because we see this Extraction Specialist in our sideboard, which seems like a great card to bring in a matchup like this because it will come down to a lot of attrition. With 0 cards in hand, it does seem like there's some interesting decisions here, right? Because you can play the Lava Coil on the Phantom, which would then allow the Chain Whirler to kill the Mausoleum Wanderer. And you'd be able to attack with everything. So I feel like this is actually just a... Oh, wait, life total is 5 now that I'm actually seeing this, so that's not possible. I actually think what has to happen is a Lava Coil has to be hit for that Phantom, and then Chain Whirler can clean up the Mausoleum Wanderer, dropping only 2 damage on the board. But
yeah, what if they pay? Or what if they sack?
Well, if they sack, then you clean them up anyway, right?
Yeah.
But that does leave them at 4 life and lethal in 2 swings. So we're going to see an attack with everything, I'm guessing.
I feel like you gotta
you didn't send with the
back. I mean, if you don't leave it back, And they have just another spirit, it'd be game, right?
No, because you're
no.
gonna Chain Whirler and kill the Muslim Wonder, and you can block the extraction
Yeah,
specialist.
this is close.
I
This
think
is
you have
really
to
close.
send everything here.
I mean, oh god, yeah, this feels like such bait. I mean, you're attacking a 1-power creature into a 3/2 lifelink. This has to just, if you're playing as the Band Spirits player, you're like, there's no way they don't have Chain Whirler, right? Because
Yeah.
I mean, that's the biggest red flag ever for that. So we gained the
And you
3.
just missed 4 life, 4 damage. And you're on a 2-turn clock.
Not a chance I would have blocked there. I would not have blocked anything with that extraction
I
specialist.
mean, I think the block is fine, but I'm saying not attacking. You have to attack the Bone Crusher.
So what do we need? Company or bust at this point?
No, they have lethal in two swings with the Shacklegeist.
7, 8, 9 plus 4, 13. Wow, it's 13.
That's what I mean.
The
You have to
Crackback,
attack
yeah.
with that Bone Crusher Giant.
Wow, yeah, because I mean, what are you expecting to draw off the top except a removal spell to deal with Shacklegeist? So, yeah, I'm with you, bro. That seemed like that could have been a very missed opportunity. Here's a Mausoleum Wanderer here, and
oh no, but that's not enough.
It's not enough.
If they were at 10 life, it would have 9.
Or if they attacked with that Bone Crusher Giant.
And that's what I'm saying. If they attacked the Bone Crusher and the same block happened, which it wouldn't have, it would have blocked the Bone Crusher Giant. It wouldn't be lethal, so it wouldn't have won them the game.
Yeah, I'm thinking back to that turn, that attack, and like
they'd be at 12.
I mean, you get to put Extraction Specialist in front of Bone Crusher. That would have been the better block.
Yep.
You would have taken 4, so only taken 1. And then you have 4. God, it still feels like it wouldn't have been enough, even if they attacked with Bone Crusher. Yeah.
No, this game was still going to play out the exact same way.
Yeah.
But it felt
if
like
there was a block on Bone Crusher, and maybe things wouldn't have done it. Who knows? Maybe they would have blocked with Spirit if they attacked all. I mean, maybe it's a little more disguised if you attack all, but if you leave something back and you only attack with a 1/1 into a 3/2 lifelink, you know, like there's a chance they're like, okay, they're just trying to push damage. Maybe you block with Spirit, and maybe you get blown out with Chain Whirler. Like, it wouldn't have been immediately obvious to me if they attacked with all that they have Chain Whirler. But when they only attack with 1/1s and a 2/2, then maybe it could have been a little different. But so far, it looks like our Spirits player is going to take this game down.
Now, we don't know if this
is game exactly. We don't know.
Yeah.
We know it's 2 at least, but yeah, this could be game 3 as well. No cards, Fink 64 is going to be like, well, none of those fly.
Yeah. All right, let's see how lifted their spirits are after this game. Do they have to play another one, or is that match?
Are they typing in chat? GG's? Oh, that's game 2.
All right, so we have a game 3.
Oh, this is going to be exciting. Game number 3 here with Finks and our mono red player. Sorry, I can't see the name. Zol 1988. And yeah, this is going to be our mono red player on the play. Now, we were kind of thinking that, Spirits may be a little favored, but with mono red on the play, do you still like Spirits here, or it's just got to be the play here is the advantage?
I don't know if there's a match of constructed Magic that I don't take the person on the play anymore.
Yeah, that is
of an established strategy. I don't know if there is one.
Yeah, of established strategies. I was gonna throw some devotion versus gold garbage, tireless tracker nonsense or something. Like
it's like, all right, blue-eye control from 1997 versus blue-eye control in 2022.
All right, so looking at the mono red deck here, up against Band Spirits in the sideboard, I'm seeing Rending Volleys. I'm seeing Lava Coils, which we already saw come in. Maybe Ferostodons to prevent some life gain. Maybe Rolling Vortex. I don't think there's a lot of life gains from the Spirits deck though. So, bro, what do you like?
And there's no like free spells. I don't know if there's free spell strategies that Rolling Vortex stops in this format. Can I think of any?
I
don't think there is.
Free spells.
It's probably just anti-life. But what decks have life gain?
It is. If no mana was cut. Oh yeah, okay.
Oh, we'll let chat figure that one out for us.
I know there's something. There's something that we're missing here, but yeah, I can't think of anything right now for Rolling Vortex. I just keep thinking when I'm playing Breach, my new favorite deck in Modern.
Yeah.
That card wrecks me in every way possible.
Oh yes.
Oh yeah. Not only can I not gain life with the Shadow Sphere plan, but I cannot cast Mox Amber, so I can't combo. Yeah, that's a brutal one.
There is no 1-drop in this hand, but Eidolon plus a bunch of removal spells that are at instant speed as well. Having some Lightning Strike seems great.
Yeah, this is great. You get to play a Den on turn 1. Of course, you would rather have, I think this hand is the absolute nuts if you can trade in like one of those Lightning Strikes for the Kamanu Saga. I forget whatever that card is called, but that card's messed up. That card is absolutely messed up.
Yeah, Kamano faces Kakazan.
Yeah.
I don't know how to pronounce. I shouldn't even try.
Yeah, honestly, it's not fair what Crimson Vow did to us here. We're bad at card names already, and now all the card names in Crimson Vow are very tough.
It wasn't Crimson Vow, it was Neon Dynasty.
Thank you, yeah.
And it's our just inherent ignorance of being North Dakotans and unread.
Correct. Yes.
That's what we should be mad at, is our public education.
Yeah, okay, so I'm going to shout out my first grade teacher.
All right, so Portable does take that Eidolon down to 16, though. Why? Why are they at 6? Oh, they had to shock with Hollow Fountain.
Hollow Fountain, and then the Eidolon taking 2 as well. So now we are seeing... Honestly, the thing that's probably tilting me the most about this whole tournament is one of the most beautiful mountains ever with a hideous mountain. So clearly they did not have enough John Avon lands. So maybe our director can ban them from the Mana Trader series from now on. We'll get back to
that. Is that a rule for the December Championship that managers has to shell out all John Avon lands?
I think so. Yeah,
to the 48 competitors.
Absolutely. I think that is now a rule.
Corey Diva Baumeister has declared.
Absolutely.
All right, let's see what happens. Mana Confluence isn't the best land to be having to play.
Yeah, and maybe we can get that Band Spirit hand cam. Maybe we don't have it, though. We'll double check that on for you as well. Okay. Not working on this one, so
down to 18, and not a bad place to be depending on what those cards are in hand. Now, if there's some beef, there's some collected companies. Yeah, these 1-drops, they need spells, and if there's no light up the stage to really fuel this strategy, it
is kind of brutal. Yeah. And here's the thing about Mana Confluence: most of the matchups, you don't care. Blue, white, Rakdos, green, taking 6 damage from your Mana Confluence, and that's an extreme measure already. You don't care. Yep. Against Mono Red, you care. You very much care. Yeah, I figured Rattle Chains had to be one of the cards here because we didn't see Supreme Phantom or anything. But I'm with you, bro. I need to be seeing a land collected company here to really pull ahead. Interestingly, our Mono Red player didn't fire off a Lightning Strike while they were tapped out. Spirits is a deck it's brutal. It's brutal to be playing reactively against them because they have Rattle Chains. The blowout, if you get something countered with Rattle Chains, it's just basically GG.
Wow, but see, if that got Lightning Strike, it was going to have an Extraction Specialist. So
yep.
Oh, but
admittedly, I didn't know that was in their deck. Oh, they have 4 on the board. Okay, that's excellent.
Killing that at end of turn, not killing it at end of turn, I guess, is interesting.
So, I mean, you get the Lava Coil Extraction Specialist and then strike the opponent's face. That's 9 damage. That puts Finks
at
to
3 and then
with a Lightning Strike. Yeah.
Oh, so it's just... Yeah, it's lethal.
I mean, if they see it, they also just played a 3rd land that doesn't match. So once again, I don't know if we can let them into the top 4 anyways, but that's okay.
Well, there are players that like to do that with, like, ever since Autumn in Mythic Championship 1.
I was actually just going to reference
18 different islands that tilted me beyond belief.
That's true. But
it's now a thing.
And Autumn is like my hero, so I suppose we'll let this slide. They played just masterfully in that set champ. What was the branding for those again?
It was Mythic Championship 1.
Yeah.
As a moddable player in that tournament, I don't know. I think I played better.
Yeah, you think so?
To my top 64 finish.
Nice. Yeah.
Maybe worse.
I think I also been cashed. Big game here from the Bash Bros. Yeah.
I think it's because we only play with John Avon islands.
I think so.
That might have been the problem.
Might have been holding us back. Yeah.
All right, so 3 life and having to find a way around this Lightning Strike. And tapping mana is not doing it.
Yeah. Nope, that ain't it. That ain't it.
That's game. Mono Red is going to be going to the top 4.
And we'll see if and it sounds like our other Mono White deck also advanced, beating Boros. 3 Mono White Humans deck, 3 2-0s.
Just monocolored aggro decks in the top 4. What?
3 mono white decks. They lost 0 games in the top 8. So we're going to see a mono white mirror on one side of the bracket versus white and red on the other side. Unreal. That is not what I expected to see, bro. And that was the only match that went to 3 games. There was just beating.
Oh, I would not think that the top 4 of this tournament would be 4 mono-colored aggressive decks. Not in a million years.
Unless you call Old Girl Trolls an aggressive deck, I wouldn't have thought that either. So yeah.
I don't.
All right, everyone. So we are going to kind of hustle to a break because one thing about this is we don't stop our players. But before we go, if you like some of these decks, maybe you're looking at this mono white deck and thinking, maybe Ross was right about playing the deck, wrong about the Thraben Inspectors.
Obviously.
Of course. Yeah. But maybe right about this deck being impressive because it's looking pretty good. And if you want to rent that deck, !Bash Bros in the chat will give you 15% off. That is the highest coupon code in the world, in the universe. I'll say it.
Well, for mana traders.
For mana traders. I mean, there might be alternate universes that give away, 20%.
Let's just cut to break. I don't want to go down this bit.
Yeah, I think
use our code !Bash Bros and go to break. Corey doesn't get to do this.
All right, everyone. We are going to take a short break and we'll be right back with the top 4, where we're going to send 2 people to that December tournament. So see you soon. All right, everybody, welcome back to the Mana Traders coverage here. My name is Corey Baumeister. That's Brad Nelson.
What up?
We're going to be bringing you the top 4 coverage here. But first, before we get into that, I wanted to give you all a little reminder here of what to expect for next month. Next month is going to be standard. And, bro, it's going to be an awesome standard format because it is a new standard format. We're going to have Dominaria in the play. We're going to lose 3 sets, right? That's all the
4.
rotation. 4, okay.
Yeah.
It's been a while. It's been a while. It has been a while. So it's going to be a fresh standard format. So qualifier season for that will be starting. It's always a little different, but usually about 9-10 days into the month.
Yep.
We'll get the qualifier season going. If you end with a record that is high enough to make it to this tournament, you'll be added in and you'll be given the chance to be able to play in this event. And then if you make it to the top 2 of this event, you'll be in that December qualifier. You can even make it to that December qualifier through the qualifications.
Yeah,
so
during the asynchronous league pairing, you can actually get first or second in that and qualify as well.
Yeah, absolutely. So that's enough of what we got to say because we got our top 4 match that is starting for us right now. It's mono red versus mono white here. Let's get right into it.
Yeah, we've got Zuri 1988 on the bottom playing mono red versus KVZA.
Kazuza. I think, none of our players have easy names that are left in the top 4. We got that going for sure. So.
Scooter TF2 is an amazing name. I used to play a lot of Team Fortress 2 back in the day.
Oh, Team Fortress 2. Okay, I was wondering what that is. I watched you play a little bit, but I really didn't play too much.
I would love to play it again with you someday.
Okay, we'll do some battling.
It's like a fun, goofy shooter.
I like it. Okay, so getting into this game here, we have Eidolon on the play that was able to be played from our mono red player. We also have land number 3, Chandra Dressed to Kill, a light up the stage, a Saga Lightning Strike, a great hand for a mono red player. On the other side, we have that turn 1 Dauntless Bodyguard, followed by another land in hand, 2 Brave the Elements, Thalia, Garden of Thraben, Thalia's Lieutenant, and double Adeline. A little bit of an awkward hand, bro, but both pretty good.
I don't think it's really, because if that 3rd land comes for an Adeline, even on turn 3, that's going to be great, because what's going to happen is that Thalia Guardian of Thraben is going to come down. That's going to force a lightning strike tapping out for the entire turn.
Yeah.
And then if that Adeline comes down, then it's not really easy to play a Chandra Dressed to Kill into that.
So here's what I gotta ask you here. I guess this makes it a little easier with Dauntless Bodyguard going to the graveyard, but would you have even played Thalia Garden of Thraben against this mono red deck that plays 4 Chain Whirlers? Like, you have to, right? But damn, that would have been brutal. But when you get your Dauntless Bodyguard chumped by an Eidolon, you're like, okay, they don't they don't have it.
That was one of the biggest draws of the game, not hitting that land for that idling to come down and start generating some pressure.
It's just 4 toughness, right? Like 4 toughness is insane. And you think Thalia's Lieutenant here, like maybe play Hopeful Initiate instead. But the one nice thing about Thalia's Lieutenant and the interaction with Adeline is just when you play Adeline, you get a counter. Whenever you attack with anything, you get a human attacking, you get a counter. So Thalia's Lieutenant with Adeline is, you know what? I'm not going to say the true thing I'm thinking, but it's messed up. It's another word like that. But it's truly a messed up.
It is. But now missing a land again, now playing Hoplite Initiate.
But not a lot of pressure. So is it that big of a deal? Like usually Flood beats Screw. Other way around, Screw beats Flood, but
yeah, but they're both down to 3 and 2 mana. I don't think it applies to the deck that also only has 3 lands and is able to deploy all their 3 drops, you know?
I like that point.
Yeah, that's the big one. Now they're able to start building a board presence, play a Bonecrusher Giant that's going to get that +1/+1 counter off of that second chapter for the saga. And maybe that's not what they want to do, but I think I would. I like me a 5/4.
I'm a fan. Yeah, the chapter 2 ability on this saga, just an incredible magic card. And then flipping to the side to be a 2/2 haster. So 1 mana 2/2 haster, already decent. You know, we've seen Goblin Guide, but if we want to zoom in on our saga here, the flip side of this saga is a nice little ability. If a creature dealt damage this turn by a source would die, exile it instead. A lot of applications to that ability. The number one I think of, because, well, I am devoted to the devotion, is Old Growth Troll and Cavalier. If you can kill those and you don't get the triggers, get me a body bag, you know?
Yeah, but I mean, it also, that can't go back into the oven.
Extraction Specialist can't come back out. Yeah, big things for that. Speaking of big things, there's the old Chain Whirler right here, but another bricked land drop for our mono white player. And yeah, this is looking brutal.
It is. I mean, you just had to have that third land. You can't really get stuck against a deck that has so much cheap removal threats and cards like Chain Whirler and advantage spells like Light of the Stage. So even if they're able to start chipping away back out of this, we're going to see mono red really start snowballing out of control here.
This is exactly what you want Brave the Elements to do, right? Just save your chump blocker, right? Yeah. That's and honestly, looking at the hand, we picked up a third Brave. Like, do those come out here? Or like, do you keep in I think there's 4 in this list. Like, you can't keep all 4 against a deck like this, or is it that good? I don't know how to evaluate this card sometimes.
It's tough for me because it really comes down to how the decks are built.
Yeah.
I would assume that you keep a lot of them in. Like, you're going to want to bring in cards like Portable Hole, Declaration, and Stone, and the Extraction Specialist that you have access to. But besides that, it really depends on what you're actually taking out. And odds are you're taking out 1-drops that just kind of get blown out.
I like Kithian, right?
Probably. Yeah, probably the Kithian, the Soldier of the Pantheon, doesn't have a lot of value.
Not a lot of multicolored cards in this deck.
Yeah. Now, Dauntless Bodyguard can protect some of your 2 and 3 drops.
Yep. Nope. Dauntless Bodyguard seems like the better of them. But like, what about Thalia? Thalia is a card that I think of for spells, of course. I think of it for Phoenix, blue-white, amazing card. But mono red has some spells. Like, is that a card you keep?
I think you have to keep some of them. You might be able to trim on them, depending. But it can stop cards like Light Up Stage turns. A lot of the burn spells you won't be able to double spell in the early turns.
Yeah, I wonder how many like lightning strikes are left in from mono red. You know, like it doesn't kill the hardest to deal with creature, which is Adeline. Like, do you trade those for Lava Coil in creature matchups like this?
Without a doubt,
you do. Okay,
for sure.
Or do you just like take out creatures and max out on removal? Because I mean, whenever I'm playing a mono red deck against other creature decks, if it says kill a creature that I can kill in especially on the draw, I want them all in, and I want some of my pukey creatures like Swift Spear out. Because if you're gonna take out a 1-drop, Swift Spear is the one you want out versus Soul Scour. Because we've seen this trick for years in Standard. Soul Scar plus Goblin Chain Whirler, even if they're not X1s, you put a -1 counter on it, which can be nice.
Oh, very nice.
Really nice.
But yeah, I think what you usually see in mono red versus mono white is you take out some of those go under you linear beatdown cards.
Okay.
And you
like what, for example?
I mean, I mean, it could be Swift Spear, it could be Eidolon, especially on the draw.
Eidolon on the draw seems terrible.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
that makes sense.
And it could even be Kumano Faces because it's just a 1-drop. It's not helping you because you want all your removal spells, and then you get to bring in cards like Rending Volley, Lava Coil, even potentially that Chandra as a card advantage, like just kill, play a Chandra.
Yeah. Yeah, and the one thing we're probably going to see maxing out on Extraction Specialist in this matchup. So we're going to see that weird dance of like, do you really want to yeah, well, we got 2 and 1 of those for a spread, you know, which is not bad. But you're gonna see, like, do you want to have that early, you know, 1 mana removal spell of like Play with Fire on a 1-drop? Because now you're really liable to, if they play Extraction Specialist on 3, getting that card back. And especially if it's like a Dauntless Bodyguard, you can protect your lifelinker. It's like, oh, give me a body bag, you know?
Yeah, the problem with Extraction Specialist is you'll never be able to actually play around it. And, you know, eventually it's going to come back.
Yeah, I mean, the way to play around it is just not kill creatures until you like start killing 3-drops and stuff. But then how much damage are you taking?
That's
like there's a way to play around it, but it's not great as far as the game plan you want to be playing.
Exactly. That's how I feel about that as well.
Yeah.
So interesting here. Yeah, we're going to see this trade and life total stay the same.
Sounds like my dog did not like that trade.
No,
Henry was not a fan of that trade at all. So,
but we are going to be able to see light up the stages now to start generating some card advantage.
Okay, and that is if there is not a block. You know, there could be. You could double block here. Oh wait, no, you cannot. You cannot block. That is written on the card. So we're probably going to see that light up.
Yeah, here's a light up the stage. Ooh, another Bone Crusher Giant. And that takes down the Thalia's Lieutenant.
Okay, pretty impressive. So we're going to see a Mutavault come down. And, you know, we're still playing this game that we pretty much thought was over. But, you know, maybe is there hope here? Like, it still feels heavily advantaged for a mono red player, but it feels like there's chances here.
There might be a little bit of chance actually here. So what we can see is this Brave the Elements protects from that Bone Crusher Giant. And if that happens before combat, then you're not really able to even attack. So there's more development to be made. And then Eidolon can come down and have another Brave the Elements to protect. So I think you're right. I think that there's a very good chance that if things all line up correctly here, that there's not going to be this game might have a few more turns. There might be the ability for white to pull back through this, all on the back of 2 defensive Brave the Elements.
So is there any world to like playing a pre-combat Chain Whirler here? Does that help us with anything? Because we haven't played a land this turn, right? Or did we?
No land has been played.
So you could go Chain Whirler in to light up the stage since you are dealing them a damage.
You're getting rid of that exiled Bone Crusher Giant, though.
Oh, that is not an Adventure Bone Crusher. Okay,
I believe it's not. I believe that's off the light up. That's a light up. Okay. Yeah. So Chandra's going to come down and potentially tick up and either activate Stomp or,
you know, my Midwest brain and just like kind of the music that's been popular in North Dakota. I think it's just brained in. Whenever I see Chandra dressed to kill, I'd be like, play the thrill, you know that.
All right, so another land drawn off of that, so that's going to come down. Yeah, so what is the play here? Is it just attack with both creatures, force double blocks? They're going to go Brave the Elements, and then you could
stomp. Oh, I like that a lot. That seems really strong here.
This actually plays around Brave the Elements really well.
I think this was incredible sequencing.
Yeah,
this looked very good here from our mono red player,
and they're just packing it up.
Yeah, hey, I get it. It. That looked really tough, and that's game 1 going to our mono red player, bro. That's 1 game away from making it to that December tournament. And we've talked about this a lot, you know, and I think I learned this from you the most. And something I instilled in my career is you always want to play tournaments that have that kind of carrot on the stick. That's something to look forward to at the end. You know, we've both lived through our career. We're like, all right, you know, the carrot on the stick is a state tournament. Now it's a PTQ. Now it's a pro tour. And for most of your end stage career, is it was always Worlds for you, right? Like
Yep.
that was always the carrot. And while maybe this is not as high of a tournament as Worlds, making it to these final tournaments that have that world aspect, I know is something that you've always said you really love playing. Like, are these small field tournaments? Are they really just everything that, you know, players really should dream of kind of thing?
Yeah, I mean the thing for my whole career, and I feel like the carrot on the stick is kind of a marketing scheme that I feel like I always wanted to buy into.
Yeah.
You know, I want the organizer.
You just love carrot.
I do. I love carrots.
Yeah.
Yes. I want the organizer to create a series for me that my accomplishments through it build towards something cool.
Yeah.
And the reward is to play in this really tight, low. I know all the players. I knew how they qualified. We can start metagames against each other, trying to figure this out. That's why I like playing Magic, and that's one of the reasons why I'm also super happy that the RCQ system has come back.
Yes.
Live play, building to regionals, building to Pro Tours, building to Worlds.
Yeah.
And so yeah, I love the series. I'm glad that this season, in the 2022 season, they brought back, you know, Mana Traders started their own series for December, and I'm excited after this season to look at it and make it bigger and better for the following year.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, you know, this maybe not be, or maybe this isn't something that Mana Traders has always done, is this final tournament, but they've done these end of the season tournaments every month where they're giving away 15K. So it's like you're already playing a league to get to the carrot. We're playing the carrot right now, but then an ultimate carrot at the end. And I agree. It really, it adds something to me as far as playing.
All right, so now we've got one hand on the bottom, which looks great on the draw. Turn one, burn spell into, I guess 2/4 drops is not great.
So here's what I'm thinking though. This is one of those hands where we're gonna load up this mono white hand, but here's the thing: do you turn one play with fire this? Because here's that liability with extraction specialist, you know?
Well, I probably play with fire the 2-drop if it's not Thalia. And if it is Thalia, then I kill the Dauntless Bodyguard. But like, yeah, because if you don't deal with the first 2 creatures, what are you doing? You're just taking a bunch of damage and playing a Chandra and it's dying? Like,
yeah. I totally agree. But yeah, that's the thing is like, so it's like, do you take 4 and then, you know, like on turn 3 at end step kill it so they can't curve into it? Because I've just lost plenty of games where, you know, you just like kill their first threat and then on 3 they just bring something back and I'm so far behind, you know, that it's really troublesome. But
I mean, that's the
not
advantage.
Every game plays like
that's
that.
the advantage of being the deck with specialist against removal spells. It's why it's in the deck in the first place. It's a powerful card. Like, that's the problem with, or not the problem, but that's where Magic has went. Like now, yeah, you want to use removal spells. I don't think you want to take 3 damage into more damage following. I just feel like, yeah, you kill the 2 creatures and hope it works.
Yeah, agreed. Because especially if you kill Thalia's Lieutenant, having that come back on Extraction Specialist is like, okay, I see. But like right now, if you go Extraction Specialist into this, you get 2 counters on Thalia's Lieutenant. I will, you know, I'll do my preemptive advantage bar, you know, towards white. I won't say quite that's game, but you know, the area it's heading to.
I mean, even an Eidolon is just massive on turn 3.
Agreed. Yeah, agreed. And I mean, I don't know. Do we think that Eidolon is even in the deck on the draw? God, that's a rough draw. They're short on blue sources here. So if it, all right, jumps aside, here's Extraction Specialist, and you get to play it. You get to put Dauntless Bodyguard in, and you know, you get to decide which one do you want to target, which one do you want to protect. Because I believe they have to do it now, right, bro? Like if it comes into play, it's not like the protection stacks. They just get to choose.
It's as it comes.
So you have to do it now, or you let them choose and you kill the other one. Basically, our mono red player is like, okay, which one are you going to target? And okay, so looking at this, we have Redain that came in. Normally, you think this is not a card you want up against a mono red deck, but the flip side of Redain is actually insane.
Yeah. Everything targets more. The Chain Whirler doesn't have that effect anymore.
Yep, the Chain Whirler doesn't do anything. You know, Chandra deals 3. These kind of things kind of add up. One thing I was talking with Ross because he's very hyped about this mono white deck. He brings in Redain against the Rakdos Sacrifice decks, and he's like, yeah, they can't win. They just have Mayhem Devil that does nothing now. Like,
oh yeah.
I'm like, oh my god, the flip side is insane.
Yeah,
like,
that's
of course
true,
they can
yeah.
have summer braids and stuff like that, but yeah, that's a nice little flip side here.
There it
And it
is,
makes
slammed it down.
combat insane. Like, honestly, if we don't see some mistake from our mono red player here in this game in combat or with the removal spell, I'd kind of be shocked. It's a hard card to always remember.
Yep.
Like, it's not only the damage is prevented, it's like you have to pay 1 extra to do it.
Oh,
All right,
I
so
saw
second
triple
Torby.
red a second time, but I was like, you know what does beat that?
Yeah.
Torben into Chain Roller.
Yeah, it sure does.
Oh,
but
yeah.
hey, here's Torben. Torben's still going to be great. So Soulscar Mage, I don't know how much damage it deals. I'm not going to lie. Because it prevents 1. And Torben says if it would deal 1 damage, it deals 2 more. So it either deals 0 or 2. I'm not sure. Are you sure?
I have no
me
clue.
neither. I'm not sure. Because it's never dealing the 1. Oh, yeah. All right, chat. Come on. Let's see your prowess. Because this is where everyone's like, wow, you guys are professional Magic players. You should know this. I think I can speak for Brad on this as well, as we call judges all the time when we're not sure when it comes to these rulings. I'll probably call and talk to a judge 4 times a tournament, even on some things just to make sure. Because you know what? When you're online, they do it for you. And like you'll kind of trial and error it here.
I also talk to them more than 4 times a weekend because they're wonderful human beings that are fun to interact with.
Okay, thank you. I meant while I'm in games, yeah, and because of all your cheating scandals, of course.
Whoa!
Yeah.
Damn! Brothers War!
Brothers War! Yeah, exactly. The Brothers War is not just physical. We tag each other mentally as well. So.
All right, so Chandra's going to come down and
it can deal 3 damage to something, and you can pay.
Yeah.
I think you still have to pay with the shield.
Yeah,
maybe we can maximize if it's not just spells. I think it's abilities as well. Yeah. Okay. Deal damage to a permanent you control. Okay. So we are handless from our opponent. And honestly, with just another Torben in hand, you're probably going to be saying go here for a while. That Den is a very dangerous card. But once again, the Den and the token are dangerous if the Torben interaction works profitably towards Torben. Okay, I'm getting a rule, and yeah, hit me, Adrian. Okay, yeah, I'm getting a confirmation. If the damage is prevented, all the damage is prevented, the Torben effect no longer comes into play. So right now, X1 or 1 X's with Torben is like Torben doesn't exist.
Chain Whirler will deal 0 temporary, and then a shock would deal 3.
3, exactly. So Torben right now deals 3. But a very big aspect right now. This is a O2 Soulscar Mage in that sense, in that vein. I'm guessing these are all coming at Chandra. Maybe we can hover over these creatures. Okay, maybe that doesn't. It only does it when you're playing matches, so I didn't know.
Oh, really? You can't hover over them?
I think we'll blame our director, of course. Yeah. Okay, so here is big old Torby blocking, and yeah, I wonder if they think that this is a kill because it would kill Metavault normally.
Yep.
Yeah. Wait, no, it wouldn't.
No, it wouldn't.
Yeah, it wouldn't actually. Yeah, this is a chump. So this is Chandra going down to 1 respectfully because now you at least get to activate it. Maybe you can hit a removal, but I mean, are we looking at the life totals? Was this just game if they attacked face?
No, they did attack face, and that's why they're.
Oh, Chandra was already at 1?
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Spike-filled hazard.
Deal 0.
That's crazy.
That is crazy. The shield is insane against Torben and Chain Whirler and the combination of both.
Yeah, it's this makes me interesting for the next game.
Yeah, absolutely. We did see Red win the first one, so this will, warrant a 3rd game so far. But what else can you do here? Metavault plus Thalia's Lieutenant here. 2 creatures are going to get through. I don't see a way to survive this turn. If Spikefield Hazard dealt damage, you could survive this turn, but nope, I take that back. They're all Thalia's Lieutenant is the only one you can kill. So each one of these 3 creatures are lethal. So even with this Spikefield Hazard dealing damage, it's GG.
Yeah, because only 2 can get blocked.
Yep.
I wonder what they're thinking about.
Yeah, just how did the shield wreck me so hard? Okay, here's the shield, maybe to just to test it. Honestly, respect. Like, they're in the game. They can't ask the judge.
Yeah.
You know, me and my brother, me and Brad always used to call up our buddy Brian is a judge. We would have him basically on speed dial. He had to have been so annoyed by us by the end. Now that I think back on it.
Oh yeah, he no longer talks to me.
Yeah, we would call him all the time, be like when we were kind of coming up, and we're just like, hey, Brian, how does this interaction work? We're in a 8-man league on Magic Online. This is very important for us. Like, we're about to get our 5-0, you know?
It's 2 a.m. Leave me alone.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
All right, so here we go. Mutavault gets animated. Everything's going to get sent in. And that is sending us to game 3. All right,
yeah,
I'm going to check,
stuff.
See what's happening on the other side. Other bracket has not concluded yet.
Yep. You know what? I really think mono white is favored on the other side of the bracket, though. I just think they have a really good. Yeah, I think they really have a good matchup against mono white. So, all right, maybe let's check out the mono white side of this. We saw the mono red. Maybe we can check out mono white, see exactly what you're going to bring in. Redain is something that didn't stick out to me, though, bro. No. You know, I'm not going to lie. That is great. Like, now that mono
red is on the play.
Mono red's on the play. Like, do you change your mono white configuration? Like, the only thing that would stick to me is like, I want portable holes on the draw and not on the play.
Exactly.
Like, is that what you want?
Yeah, I think cards like Brave the Elements and portable hole have different values based on play or draw.
Yeah.
And so I could see going less Brave the Elements for more portable holes now that they're on the draw. And for the most part, I would assume that the same things are happening. Take out the Pantheons, probably take out the Kythian, probably Thalia's.
Sure as hell not take out Redain after that last game.
No, keeping Redain.
Wow, that
keeping Brutal Cathars, Adelines, taking out the other Thalia as well, the Brutal Cathar.
What about the Decklists? Do you touch that card, or you don't in an aggro matchup? Do you not want to give them a card, even if it deals with maybe a tricky to deal with card? Like, so that's a close one for me.
Yeah, I could see it going both ways. Mm-hmm. The problem with Deck and Stone, if they don't have giant threats, is you're just going to give them value because they're also killing all your things. Mm-hmm. So the board ends up with them having one threat, them killing all your stuff, and you having to give them a card.
Okay, so getting back into this game, looks like we have a mulligan on the play from our mono red player with Eidolon as the only kind of real threat. We do have that Bone Crusher as well. And Eidolon looks to be pretty decent, and you have 2 Rending Volleys, which realistically is got to be the best card you can have against mono white because it's 1 mana deal with Adeline. But outside of this, I would much rather be on the mono white side, wouldn't you, bro?
We'll see how much this adds up. I think that having Bone Crusher Giant's really great, and I agree with killing this right now because that's going to let the Eidolon start dealing damage. The Bone Crusher can kill the 2-drop. Mm-hmm. That can create a lot of initial damage.
And I mean, it's another one of those scenarios, though. Like, we agree with it with seeing the hand and not seeing Extraction Specialist, but if we draw that again, like, if that's a curve out onto 3 with Extraction Specialist, like, I do not see a way out of that.
Well, that's just the power of that card.
That card's
it's
so
a ridiculous magic card. Brutal, not drawing an extra land and something they can't cast. So to be able to deal additional
damage. Got a Rending Volley that, right?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. But that takes away, that is all the removal spells that could kill a card like Adeline. So it's really tough to actually pull the trigger on it.
Either that or you play the Sagas, say go, like, woo, yeah, that's pretty bad. Like, what kind of draws does mono red, like, want to get in back in a game like this since it's kind of early behind?
Well, that would be a land, Corey.
Yeah, that's a good call.
Yeah, but at this point, I mean, it's just gonna have to be lands and try to weather the storm. They lost the initiative of developing aggression. They're on the mulligan. The mono white deck is now going to be able to start playing some problematic threats. And we'll see what they do here. They can play a Hopeful Initiate into a Luminarch Aspirant for the turn. They can slam that Adeline. That's the play I would make, is because there's 2 Rending Volleys in the graveyard already. So that has reduced the amount of deal 4 spells from 5 down to 3 that are available in the deck. So, yeah, when in doubt, just slam. Oh, not going to do that, though. Going to play 2 different spells instead of that Adeline, or just playing the Luminarch Aspirants. That's a saving grace here, in all honesty, because
you would have liked Adeline there, right?
I would have slammed it, yeah.
Especially with how many Rending Volleys are in this sideboard? Like, not many, right? You got to think that that's most of them.
It's 2 of the 5 ways.
Yeah, because lava coil as well, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
So here it does feel like, you could sniff out that Brave the Elements. I'm almost on the spot of just playing Kumano, passing, and trying to use Bone Crusher and Eidolon to deal a bunch of damage.
Yeah, I think I would, without perfect information, being the fish I am, probably go for the play of Kamano plus Bone Crusher. But here is the extra slap in the absolute face: is if you brave a Bone Crusher, it doesn't go on an adventure.
It does not go on an
No,
adventure.
it fizzles. So it
Yeah.
goes right to the graveyard, and that is bad news bears. Like in this situation with perfect information, the play I would want to do is like attack. If they block, either trade, or if they brave, then you really get to get them, or you just Bone Crusher the face.
They're just taking it.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Well, but 12 is not a lot of life to.
Yeah.
I mean, this game almost is actually over now with Bone Crusher, Lightning Strike, and Kamano. That's a total of 6 damage.
Yeah, but I mean, I
own.
get what Kavuza is setting up, and that is Adeline plus Brave, and they're like, okay, I can't lose. Once I get that, I'll never cast another spell. And it might work. It really might, because you get to put Luminarch to a 3/3. You get to attack. You hit them for 4, and then you have Brave up to protect yourself, but you are going to go down to 9. I mean, this is still huge advantage, Kavuza, in my opinion, here with this line. And it is a very defensive line they set up. They use their life as a resource here, taking this instead of, hoping just, okay, if I go Luminarch and Brave, we know it would have worked out terribly for our mono white player. But if that did happen, and then you go Idling, and then the worst case scenario is they have the lava coil for that as well. Game for sure. I really like how Kavuza played this. I think it was
I
very
do too,
well.
but this is edge of your seat magic right now.
Yeah.
5 damage in hand,
Mm-hmm.
which means that only one more spell could get cast.
But remember, that is 4 damage to our mono red player as well. So that puts them to 12. So, I mean, and if there's an attack for 4 here, that's 8, 8 life that our mono red player is at as well. So, yeah, I agree. This is a very close game. Slight advantage bar if I had to give one to Kavuza, but yeah, this is tough. And now they're thinking, do I want to play Dauntless Bodyguard or something? I like not playing anything and just attacking for 4.
Yeah,
but
and you like attacking for 4, putting a counter on Luber, Aspirate,
Yep.
and then attacking. Because there is an argument of putting on the Idling as well.
Exactly. But with Brave, I feel like you don't really need it, but I agree that that's a thing as well. There's some also argument to making sure your opponent is at that even life total, because that does it just means they have one less spell for Eidolon. If they're at an odd, they could go to 1 with a spell. Not the biggest deal. You can tell I've lost to Boros Burn in Modern far too many
Everyone's
times.
lost to Eidolon way too many times in their life.
I hate that card.
I hate it.
Hate it. It might be my least favorite card, because I also just don't like playing that style of cards. So, okay, now, I mean, it's just Brave, right? Not close, because you also fizzle the card.
That's huge.
Yeah. I bet they choose red. But now I think I'd put one on Adelaide. Now I think I would, now that this is open. Yeah, love it. Because now it's unkillable. It really is unkillable outside of 2 removal spells, which gets really rough. Idling off the top is not what they want.
No, not against an Adeline.
No, not at all. So that is absolute big game here. Okay, getting an update from the other side. Madi Saparis, any of those fans will be moving to the finals here. Mono White, of course, going to be playing the winner of this. So congratulations to them. They are in our December tournament, but we still got a game here and a close one.
It's tough. Like, how do you, I mean, I guess you're just going to go for the trade. I love this.
Shafet.
Yeah, yes. Get that Chefnet Dunes or Shafet Dunes. So now those Eidolons can't kill the Adeline. Get to send it all in. Get to put a counter on
probably the human.
Yeah, I put on the human and send everything.
Yeah, I just want to make sure that Eidolon doesn't have a good block. The 3/3/1 doesn't have a good block to survive and maybe crack back. So now here's the math. Can you attack all in, force blocks, kind of thing? Like this is what you got to worry about. But it's extra complicated because that Saga is going to flip. So decides that it's worth it. Eidolon is unkillable though, so it's always going to be an untapped creature. Yeah. So here's the thing. What if you block just 2/2 to 1/1 it's way too much damage.
You have to get rid of both your Eidolons in this combat, or you're locked out of casting another spell.
Not true, right? Because you can go to 3 if you block 3/3 Eidolon to 1/1, and small Eidolon to Adeline takes 6. Go to 3, you can play 1 spell. Spell could be Lightning Strike. I don't think that's enough.
That's not enough because the Eidolon or the Adeline can block.
But wow, it is to 2. We do have Kavuza to 2.
Yeah.
You know? So that's the math they're doing here as well. Is there any top deck that you can get? Normally it'd be like Play with Fire, but the fact is with Eidolon, you don't have that out. So,
well, it depends on the block that the Eidolon makes, right?
How so?
If the Adeline blocks the
it's never gonna block Eidolon.
Yeah,
not a chance. Like that would just be a horrific punch.
Yep.
Because Kazuza doesn't need to play another spell. They just don't.
I'm just trying to find you your scenarios. That's all I'm doing.
Yeah, I mean that's your job. So, and I'm thinking like, I'm looking at the list. I don't see it.
Nope. As long as mono white player actually just pilots this
and doesn't do what I have totally done before, is like, okay, pre-combat, whatever. I'll just play the bodyguard, protect. They're dead anyways. They're like, oh no,
yeah. Here we go for our blocks.
Right. Yeah, and I think this is just the mono red player looking through all the things they can draw, just doing exactly what we were doing with evaluating and realizing, is there any way? This is the block we were talking about that is the best block, quote unquote, that lets them play 1 spell, but there's no spell it could be. Like,
yeah.
I mean, Lava Coil here would be okay if Adeline was not that 5 toughness. So once again, a nice play.
Just hoping there's no block.
Yep. Takes 3 down to 4. There's no 1 spell that they can have.
Yep.
And that is going to be a mono white finals, bro.
Mono white finals.
Unreal. Mono white humans absolutely crushing it. This is a deck that even going into this series, we're going to bring this back to the booth here, but even coming into this series, and I will say I'm wrong because and whatever, it's 1 tournament, so small sample size.
Just admit you're wrong. You're just wrong. Just accept the fact you're wrong.
I think I am wrong because I thought mono red with Annex and Embercleave was a better aggressive monocolored deck, but mono white has looked insane this weekend.
Mono white feels, if there isn't, like I brought up earlier, if there isn't a Phoenix deck dominating the top, because the Phoenix deck kind of picks apart, because you just have so many cantrips, so many value engines, so many removal spells. If that's not around and this is the metagame, mono white seems here to stay for a while.
Yeah, and I mean, I think the green mono white matchup is close. Like, especially when mono green is on the play, I think it's really close.
It did not look good this week.
Agreed, but when mono white is on the play in that matchup, there's some draws from mono white where you don't compete, you don't play Magic.
And that's usually a good self-awareness of identifying a matchup.
Yeah.
If you feel like the matchup is close when you're on the play and it's really bad for you when you're on the draw,
it's a bad
matchup.
Yeah, exactly. And honestly, that was Winota mono green for me. It was like, okay, when I'm on the play and I have Karn, I can get a cage, like, cool, I have a chance. Yeah. When I'm on the draw, I was like, I can't play Magic, I'm screwed, it's gonna be brutal. So we are gonna take ourselves a short little break. We're gonna make it short because we don't want to hold up our players too fast. Because you know what? One of them is about to make $1,000 extra, $3,000 for first place, $2,000 for second. But the one thing that we have is Kavuza and Madi Saparas will be playing in that December end of the year championship.
See you in December.
Going to be a really exciting one. So short little break. Don't go anywhere. We're going to get the conclusion of this Mana Trader series. All right, everybody, welcome to Brothers War. I had to try it. I had to get him when he wasn't expecting it. So welcome back to the Pioneer coverage here. My name is Corey. That's Brad. He's my older brother. We're bringing you some coverage today of the Pioneer series, of the Mana Trader series, featuring Pioneer. in the finals. This is our August series. Now, if you're looking to be a part of this really cool event, you're like, you know what? I also would like $3,000.
I mean, I would.
You sure as heck can be a part of it. Well, not you. I need you for coverage. So
I know. It's a burden I'll bear.
Yeah, exactly. Absolutely. So here is the payouts here. You see those small numbers for the non-subscribers, large numbers for the Mana Trader subscribers. We'll give you a little insider info. Yeah, they're all Mana Trader subscribers here in this top 8. It's the way to do it. Not only is it a great loan program where you get a great, service throughout, you also get to win the large bucks compared to the smaller bucks. So if you want to be a part of this loan program, you can use !Bash Bros in the chat. That'll save you 15% off your first 2 months subscription. And then you can play in these qualifier leagues, which is about 10 days into the month of September. Qualify for this tournament, make it to the top 8, make it to the finals. You'll have us commentating over your match. Well, technically not me, but you'll have Brad and Ross next month doing the business here. But we are still, we still have a champion to crown for this tournament. Both players have made it to the December championship, but one will be taking home the extra $1,000. So we still got plenty to play for. And Brad, tell me a little bit about these last 2 decks.
Yeah, so both of our last standing competitors are on Mono White Aggro, a deck that we didn't really think was going to have that big of an impact on the weekend. 3 made top 8. None have lost to a non-mirror in the top 8 so far.
Yeah, so far. Okay, give us a quick refresher while we're getting this match going. Adrian, if you want to show us the metagame for this tournament and kind of look what a big surprise that we're seeing here. Look at this metagame here. Mono green is the biggest one. There were a lot of variations, so it's a little out of order there, but mono green, 21%. Rakdos mid-range, 12%. Brad, that's 33%. That's a third of the field. None of them made it to the top 8. Now we have Azorius Control at 18 copies. 2 of those made it to the top 8. 1 Boros Aggro. And I guess we have to scroll to that second page to see the deck that we're talking about. And that really shows the dominance. Look at that. We have
it's not even on the
second page. Not even on it. Yeah, Mono White, did I miss this? Yeah,
so over 50% of the Mono White players.
I'm getting word it's 5 players.
So over 50%. 60% of the Mono White players made top 8, top 4 of this tournament.
That is extremely telling to me.
Yeah, that
is extremely telling. Well, everyone is trying to beat the old girl trolls and trying to beat the fabled mirror breakers. Mono White is just like, yeah, I'm good against the deck that are beating these decks.
And well, they're good at beating them.
Yeah. Impressive stuff here. So, really good stuff. Let's take a look at one of our Mono White players' deck
I'd like
list.
to throw up Mahdi's because we already took a look at AVZAs. And one of the things, the difference in the deck list is these wedding announcements.
Oh, I see it. Yeah, that's interesting.
I do think that wedding announcement isn't going to be particularly that great in the mirror.
Yep.
But if it's on the play, it could have an advantage once it flips into invitation.
Well, we're going to find out right now because we're about to bring you the finals here of the Mana Trader series. Let's jump on in the game.
Here we are. We've got a decent opening hand on the top, and both hands are very playable. I do feel like being on the play with Luminarch Aspirants and Kytheon might be a huge advantage.
Is it a big advantage in this mirror? There's some, I'm thinking the Rakdos mid-range mirror. I almost want to be on the draw on that. Probably not because you want to play Fable first, but it's close, right? Is this one first, not close? Do you feel like huge advantage or just kind of advantage on this?
Well, maybe after sideboard when both players are going to get access to interaction in the form of portable hole. But game 1, I do feel like being on the play is an extremely advantageous position because Brutal Cathar is the only real removal spell.
Yeah, and absolutely. This is exactly why Luminarch Aspirant on the play to get a token on, and which looks great. But the one thing I am very much looking at as far as Mahdi's hand is double Brutal Cathar is sometimes not only just great on service value, but if you ever get to those games where you're just looking back and forth at each other. So sometimes you don't play anything and you say go. If you ever get to flip that card and then flip it back to take another card, that's just where Brutal Cathar doesn't even look like a real Magic card. It just looks insane.
So this is a good defensive position if this Dauntless Bodyguard stays back because it shuts off that play of animate Mutavault, put a counter on an attack, get a counter on the Hopeful Initiative, and not lose the Mutavault.
Oh, sure.
But with that Brave the Elements, that does open up the possibility of just playing the Kytheon using the Brave the Elements. Just put a counter on the Hopeful Initiate, attack with it, get it through combat.
Okay.
And then if that's the line by playing a Plains, that really opens up the possibility of that Brutal Cathar getting broken up. Now that is casting both your spells though. So if you just animate Mutavault, you're like you said, that Brutal Cathar is going to flip immediately.
Yeah, so that's interesting because like one thing you really want, you know, if I'm looking at playing this mono white deck, I'm always keeping my training aspect in mind where I just like, you know, it's kind of the same as what like Legion Warboss, what is that, Mentor? It's kind of the same as Mentor, right?
Yes.
Where you always want to have a bigger creature attacking. So if you have a Hopeful Initiate that has 2 power and a Mutavault with 2 power, and you're like, which creature do I put my Luminarch Aspirant token on? It's almost always Mutavault because then you get the token on the Hopeful Initiate, but maybe not the best time for that kind of play for this scenario though, huh?
Yeah, because if you put on the Mutavault, you're going to lose the Mutavault in a pretty advantageous trade. A land for a 1-drop, yeah, sign me up every time.
Yeah, I'll take that. Yeah, absolutely.
And then you're not going to have the ability to get another counter on the Hopeful Initiate the following turns.
Mm-hmm. And the one thing I'm looking at as far as Brave against cards like Brutal Cathar is like, normally Brave against a removal spell is awesome, but when it's up against a card that already is a body on the battlefield, it feels a lot less exciting to me.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like, is Brave going to be sided out? It doesn't seem amazing.
I do not know the answer to that. I can see it because you have to keep your creatures up, and you're going to be both players are going to bring in access to portable holes, Declaration of Stones.
Yeah, a lot of removal. And, you know, it is a monocolored creature deck. So if you just, your opponent's at 10, you amass a large board instead of like staring at each other, you know, be like, I don't have great attacks. You don't have great attacks. You just like Brave, you're dead. Like that seems good too. So I agree. It's probably a trim instead of like all out, all in kind of thing.
And that's really how it works is once the removal spells come in from each side, Brave does lose some value, but being able to just alpha strike is also huge.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
So I don't know. I'm really interested to see what these players do. We do know that that Madi Saparius already did win a mono white mirror, right?
Really? Oh yeah, they just played it. Yeah, of course. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So they're a pro. Did they 2-0 that as well?
Mm-hmm.
No big deal. Madi's just 2-0, 4-0 in today. Just had an easy breezy time.
All right. So waiting to see what they're going to do, if they're going to Brave the Elements or not. You can do once they choose a target.
Yeah. So probably just, you know, naturally just going to get a beverage. Like.
And this is a tough decision, right? Because it's like, if I use the Brave now to protect the creature now, I don't have a spell to cast next turn, but there's not a lot of spells to cast anyway.
Yeah, like there's no other consideration that you can think of with this Brutal Cathar, right? Like,
well, it's allowing them to take something that's not the Kytheon and then using the Mutavault to flip it.
Mm-hmm.
And then maybe like killing the Cathar, like forcing it to attack and blocking it at some point.
Sure. And there is a Ganjo in the hand as far as a kind of a spicy removal spell. You know,
they are choosing to Brave.
And like, here's this, bro. Like, look at this. Here's the scenario that could be really brutal. There's no spells in hand for Kavuza. So if you just like, Brutal Cathar is gonna flip.
Yep.
And it's gonna be that 3/3 first strike ward, which is basically impossible to attack through. You know, like in this mirror, 3/3 first strike is extremely brutal. Cathar.
Yeah, we'll see. It's interesting. So animating there does mean like they can't give indestructible to Kytheon.
Yep. And so Kytheon's probably not getting in there, huh?
No, and they can't do anything with a Ganjo.
Yeah.
So this attack is
a Ganjo is active. Kytheon's a legend.
Oh yes, yes. Sorry, excuse me. Yeah, never mind.
So that is pretty nice.
No,
right?
That is very good. Yeah.
Man, those channel lands, the fact that the legend makes them cheaper, I feel like it just gets me every time.
It does. It's tough. They're so good. Yeah, so this Dauntless Bodyguard is going to trade with Mutavault. A Ganjo is probably going to kill the Thaler's Lieutenant. Awkwardly enough, not being a spell.
Yeah.
In this situation.
Yeah, exactly. So Brutal Cathar will flip. And then, oh my God, this is going to be really insane. So it's going to be a weird interaction here. Madi can go double spell to flip Brutal Cathar back. One of the spells is Brutal Cathar, though. So the way it works, it comes in as a Moon Rage Druid, Dryer, whatever it is, the flip side of it. So it doesn't steal something when it comes into play. So honestly, we might just see Hopeful Initiate, Dauntless Bodyguard instead.
You can just play Brutal Cathar and then another 1-drop, and then when they flip and eat both the creatures immediately.
Oh yeah, that's right. That's right. They'll both flip.
This is brutal.
Yeah, I'm saying they don't. You don't steal a creature when it comes into play on the flip side, but they will still flip.
Yes, they will flip now back to Day, putting 2 triggers on the stack, taking the Initiate, taking the Luminary Aspirant, leaving them with just a Gideon.
Yeah, that card is aptly named Brutal Cathar in some scenarios, and we're seeing it here. Even if these Cathars were to go away, which as we see right now, there's no way to do so, cards like Hopeful Initiate have lost their counters, and it's reset. That's one of Brutal Cathar's biggest applications, mostly for cards like, let's say, Thing in the Ice. If you take an Awoken Horror, whenever it gets back, it's a thing in the garbage, basically.
So what's really interesting here is that Gideon can force something to attack now.
Yeah,
which can be a Brutal Cathar. That Bodyguard can protect that, or the Chefnet Dunes can pump it. And yes, if the Chefnet Dunes is activated, the Mutavault will have to go into combat as well.
And that's not a good block. Like that is not, that's a 2-for-1. You get your Luminarch Aspirant back, which is going to be good. But, then outside of this, if you activate Chefnet Dunes, you're getting 2 3/3s with Brutal Cathars, a 2/3 with Hopeful Initiate. That's going to be a 3/4 when it attacks. So you're able to actually kill Gideon here and not cast a spell. So your remaining Brutal Cathar will flip back. That's the play I like. Like you're still at 20, so you're not trying to go for throat. You're trying to just take resources off your opponent's battlefield at this stage of the game. If I was playing in this matchup, for sure.
Yep, I like it. It makes a lot of sense to do the Chefnet Dune, and then you can flip the Brutal Cathar back and forth in the next 2 turn cycles. All right, so it just depends on what they are planning to do.
See if they like that play. I mean, there's also some consideration to, I just don't like Castle Vantressing or just playing Dauntless Bodyguard. Like Dauntless Bodyguard to protect the Brutal Cathar isn't bad. Yeah, I think we're going to see this Chefnet Dunes, which I really like here.
Yep. It does allow them to keep the Gideon, but in all honesty, Gideon staying alive isn't that big.
No, Gideon will fall.
No, because 2 creatures can just block 2 different creatures.
Yeah, but that's
double chump.
Double chump. But double chump for the Gideon is an aggressively slanted creature. It doesn't protect. This isn't Gideon Jwar or whatever, I like getting everything in here. Probably at Gideon, and now it's a choice. Be like, you're losing something. You're losing 2 things no matter what. And it's just, which 2 things do you want to lose? So I like just double blocking the Brutal Cathar with Luminarch. It's your best creature, and then hope to draw out of it. But yeah, this definitely huge advantage to Madi.
Yeah, with resources
Cards
still
in
there,
hand,
and also that Brutal
better
Cathar's...
lands. Yeah, doesn't even block. Animate the old fake out.
Wow, and that is so bad because now double spell is just going to...
Yeah, you might as well just scoop it up.
Yeah, Brutal Cathar seems unbelievable in White Mares.
Yes, absolutely. Just any matchup where the card can actually consistently flip. And when you're playing against, like, let's say, Green Devotion, for instance, they're always casting spells. And if you're not casting spells, the white deck, you're probably losing. So it doesn't really happen to flip back in that matchup. But an aggressive matchup like this, like Mono Red, you could actually see them flipping. But against Mono Red, Brutal Cathars just die all the time. There's too much removal, So this feels like one of the rare matchups where you see the flip side of Brutal Cathar.
Yeah, and we're going to see a Mutavault attack. Say go.
Is there any way out here for Kavuza? Or is this just going through the motions because you're in the finals of a big event?
I think that's what it is. There's no real outs.
Yeah. Brave the Elements, kind of awkward right now. You have 2 red creatures.
It's true, yeah. Wow, didn't think that one through.
Yeah, exactly. That's just poor deck building right there.
Now that Thalia is going to come down too. And with that, those are going to flip again. But yeah, you can just send everything in too.
Yeah, I think I still attack, like, whatever.
Oh, for sure, right?
Yeah.
Because it can't block. All your creatures can't be blocked by a Thalia.
Yeah, take 9, enjoy it. I don't think I animate Mutavault or anything. Just attack with the creature. Like, at this stage of the game, for me, it's just always make attacks that just, are not your opponent eating a creature. You save that for the alpha attack. Like, you're not at a position where you have to, like, really race. You don't need to go super wide. You just have everything wrapped up, make good attacks, slow and steady. This mono white mirror, there's no catch up mechanism. There's no doom scars or something like
and
that.
And the decision point here is in case the Dauntless Bodyguard wants to protect the one that's going to eventually have 2 creatures underneath it.
Yeah.
And so that's what we're having with that decision making.
I actually think there is a deeper decision making here right now. And I don't know if Madi is thinking about this, but thinking, you know what? I want to keep it at night because if they draw Brutal Cathar, that might be their one aspect to get in. And if it's night, it doesn't do anything. It's 3 mana, 3/3 first striker. But if you switch it to day here, and all of a sudden Brutal Cathar takes Brutal Cathar, you get Luminar Gasprint. That's kind of a game still. So I actually like this pause where flipping it back might not actually be great. I think for rethinking it, I would attack with the 2/3/3s, the Hopeless Initiate, and then just say go and hold up Brave, and just not flip it back. Like, who cares about the Thalia right now?
It does improve your combat.
Yeah.
And it allows you to keep Brave the Elements up.
Exactly. But when it's night, Brave the Elements is not a card you need to have up. So it's a weird dilemma. Yeah. But if you switch it to day, you don't have Brave up. So
it does have a lot of awkwardness.
It is. There's some silliness.
So 9 damage comes in, dropping our top player to 11.
All right. And Thalia coming down decides to flip.
Yep.
But honestly now, if we draw Brutal Cathar, they're going to get 2 creatures back. Because whatever one, I would really like that left Brutal Cathar to take it and not the other way around. So I think you can stack it in such a way where that was a mistake.
Yes, you can stack it correctly, but the UI is not the easiest for it, so I can see it.
Agreed. But if you top deck Brutal Cathar here, not there, but that was a window there that actually would have really scared me. So yeah, Madi picking up game number 1 in this finals matchup for a cool $1,000, $3,000 to first, $2,000 for second. First of all, everyone, thank you so much for tuning in for some Sunday top 8 coverage. We really appreciate y'all being here. We do this every single month. If you're new here, please come back. Welcome. Thank you so much for being here. We'll be doing this usually the last weekend of every month. Sometimes it varies by a little bit, but I think we do have it locked in next month. It's going to be Brad Nelson with Ross Merriam for that 24th and 25th of September. And it's going to be new standard. Yeah, no more Goldspan Dragon. Get it out of there.
Yeah, I'm excited. Yeah, we've got them, the sets coming to digital here soon. I think this next week they are.
Yeah, I think so.
I don't have all the dates. Yep. And then I'm going to be playing a little bit of Standard there and Pioneer. Both formats really interest me right now. I always love myself some new Standard too. So
me too.
Perfect timing for Mana Traders to pick for the September series.
Yep.
And yeah, so the play should probably be starting around the 12th, 13th and go until it should start around then, I believe.
Yeah, probably. We'll have exact dates on the Mana Traders Twitter accounts. Me and Brad will also be sharing it on our Twitter and stuff like that, so keep an eye on that. But getting back in the game here, we're going to have Kavuza on the play. See those portable holes came in. Even Deckenstone's really turning into what looks to be a heavy control deck, at least a heavy control hand. Probably keeping that. Nothing super exciting, though.
Look, the thing about Magic is everything becomes mid-range.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just the truth.
We're all mid-range. We're living.
If you're hyper-aggressive, you become mid-range. If you're control, you become a little mid-range with some threats.
Yeah.
And that's why I play mid-range, because you get to be mid-range, but with the better spells.
That's fair. We'll try to get you that bottom hand cam as well here to see what Madi kept as well. Get that loaded up for you. And 2 hopeful initiates.
The weak side of this hand is you can't really put a lot of pressure on them with it.
Mm-hmm. Also, the weak side of bringing in portable holes, which would almost lead me to not want to bring them in on the play, bro, is not only does it, you kind of have some of these draws where you have too much removal, but Hopeful Initiate cleans them up pretty easily with that third ability, you know?
Well, while that's true,
Yeah.
you cannot let a Luminarch Aspirant go wild in an mono white mirror.
That's true, but is 4 Brutal Cathar, Deck and Stone, is that enough to make sure it doesn't go crazy?
No,
No,
like
you just gotta
cards.
have portable holes.
It's so easy to lose to a board stall with a Luminarch Aspirant.
Yeah. So would you just bring in 4? I mean, have 10 removal spells post board, or is that extreme?
So it's difficult because there's a big argument to be had for this mirror, and that's where I believe that we're going to see the wedding invitations actually shine. Is if both players have all these removal spells.
Only one has wedding announcement.
That's
right?
what I'm saying.
Okay,
That's why Madi has an advantage in my opinion, is because of these wedding invitations.
Wedding announcement.
Or
Yeah,
wedding
that card is messed.
It's mostly wedding invitation is what it flips into, right?
I don't know.
I believe that's the name of it.
Man, knowing what the cards flip into, that's the next level coverage. The only thing I know what it flips into is Awoken Horror because I've been seeing it for so much of my life. But otherwise, yeah, whatever. They're the flip side of this card to me. Let me double check. Maybe we don't have the hand cam. Maybe it broke. Naughty. All right, that broke a little bit, so unfortunate here. But hey, at least we had a whole top 8 and top 4 with hand cams.
It has been a good top 8. All right, so these are the tough choices. We might see a wedding announcement, maybe a removal spell, or double white. So we're seeing Adeline.
Okay.
And that's the double trigger that's going to be going on Thalos Attendant. So that's definitely going to get in.
Conveniently to a 3.
Yeah.
Big game.
All right. Not really a good block here. And with that Brutal Cathar or Deck and Stone, they're going to be able to get rid of that and get a good attack in.
Yeah. What do you do here, bro? Do you Brutal or do you Deck and Stone?
I think I'm going to Brutal Cathar it.
And Dauntless Bodyguard, probably not on Brutal Cathar though, right? Like you probably want to actually protect something else because Brutal Cathar, it's not like it's dying to damage. It's going to die to being targeted. So it seems like a waste to bodyguard that.
Yeah, the problem with Dauntless Bodyguards in general is they're not that great in combat specific situations.
I guess, yeah, you don't want to bodyguard something that's already bodyguard.
Yeah, they're going to go with Declaration.
Okay, and maybe just getting in there? Oh, wow, that's aggressive. I wouldn't have done that for sure. I think the Deck and Stone is reasonable, but I would have progressed the board, I think. But, I mean, they're at 8. That's a real number.
Brutal Cathar will be able to take down the Thales Lieutenant.
Yeah, and we see the clue come in. Not going to be sacked for a while. No. that is something that will come up if we get into the late game, and it'll kind of push Madi way over the edge if they are able to stabilize. But as it stands now, it's just if I'm Madi, I just want to be like, I want to dump my hand and set up scenarios where I'm not dying. But hey, that's a lot of non-white land here, and here's the Punisher for that Deck and Stone.
That's huge because that's 2 great blockers now.
Do you only attack with one creature here?
Oh, I 100% just attack with the human because you can't. Oh, or they're going to leave the human back.
Okay. Because you can attack with a token and trigger Adeline, right? I'm not 100% on that. I would think so.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. So, yeah, I think I'm with you. I probably would have played that a little safer. But you know what? With Brave in the list, you do just kind of got to get the game done. And a Luminar Aspirant off the top is a nice pickup. We're going to see this Brutal Cathar. We're going to see Dauntless Bodyguard probably come down protecting maybe Dauntless Bodyguard and an attack in here for 4. Okay, just 2. That's reasonable.
All right.
And now we're going to be getting to the spot where whenever I'm at a life total that is less than the power of the mono white player, you just always have to have a light switch that goes on and be like, okay, Brave, how can I play around it? And there is ways to do so, and that's Mutavaults, you maybe always have to leave up 2 mana so you can Mutavault block. But also we don't know how many are even left in the deck.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like that great of a card in the mirror because
I wouldn't think it stays left in, to be honest.
No, it's just if a Brave is going to win you the game, odds are removal spell is also going to win you the game.
Yeah.
And Brave is not going to save you when you're losing.
Mm-hmm. Totally agree with you there, bro.
And they're probably doing some Brave math right now. Like maybe I should block with this 1/1 because I'm not going to be able to do anything about it next turn.
Yeah. All math is brave math. You got to be math. You got to be brave to do some math, you know?
All right. So any 3 of those 5 creatures getting through is lethal damage.
All right. There's a plains off the top. 3 cards in hand. Don't exactly know what they are, but yeah, we're going to find out soon. But now the attacks have kind of halted, but we'll see. 5/5 is the biggest creature on the battlefield. There's no real good blocks for that. So, you know, if there is, like, let's say Brutal Cathar plus Thalia or something, for instance, you know, I would attack as well. Because you're not only putting 2 creatures onto the battlefield, you're taking one away. And also, I mean, if there's Brutal Cathar, you brutal on brutal and you get Adeline here, and that's probably better. So we probably don't have that, but you never know.
No. And yeah, this is just hoping to get to a Brave the Elements potential line as well.
Yeah.
I do like the attacks. I've gotten a little weak in my later years of being a Magic player. I find myself not attacking as often in situations like this.
I mean, there's some scenarios where if there's no way for these mirror matches to push through damage, not attacking is just right. Being defensive. But when you're up against a clock, not even like a damage clock, but you're up against a clock where if they have Brave, I'm dead. Like, you just got to go, you know?
But like in a situation right now, I might have kept that back, you know?
Yeah. I mean, honestly, how it stands right now, and knowing that just Mutavault is being held back, I still would have get, Deck and Stone on the human.
Yeah. Deck and Stone on the human token. And oh no, there's a
that's not game.
There's a Mutavault. Yeah.
Yep. So, no break. Wait, it hits the other human too?
Oh, it is game because it hits all 3 humans.
Oh, it's different art. So we're like, that can't
all
work.
Just have the same. They have the same name.
Wow.
So that's game.
That's a Deck and Stone and a half off the top.
We have a game 3.
Wow. And we saw wedding announcement about to kind of pop off, but here is a very good reason why wedding announcement maybe isn't that great, because not only does Adeline make humans, wedding announcement does the same. That's a big liability to Deck and Stone.
It was a pretty good draw on the play and had a bunch of removal spells.
Yeah, and a nice top deck there.
Wedding announcement is great in the mono white mirror. I know it.
There's no instant speed way to deal with Brutal Cathar, right? Yeah, wow. We're gonna get a game 3 here.
I don't think there's a single No, there was a Fateful Absence.
Oh wow. Okay, so there was. Fateful Absence block with Adeline was GG.
Yeah,
but
that would have been
the other way. Yeah,
would have been brutal. All right, yeah. So
this is Marty's. So this is Marty's list. How many Deck and Stones did we have on the other side? It was just 2, right?
It's just the 2 that were drawn.
And they just drew both of them. Wow. So that was a 1-outer to steal that game, to force a game 3?
That was, yeah.
Wow. Okay. Because otherwise, that was huge advantage, Monty. And you know what? You were just saying, like, God, maybe earlier in my career, I wouldn't have attacked. Well, early in your career, you wouldn't have lost that game.
Because I want to attack that earlier time and that extra damage. Yeah.
Exactly. I mean, Thalia being held back there, that Deck and Stone wasn't great. So realistically, that was too aggressive an attack around exactly 1 card, So how can you, Madi was not playing around 1 card. They're like, if you have that 1 card, you will win. And it was there in the sense that was on the top of the deck. So yeah, I think I like it from Madi as well.
Well, they also did chump block, so it would have been. They would have had an extra attacker.
Oh, yeah, you're right. Yep. Okay. Yep. Touché.
So yes, don't you worry. I can lose that game too.
You would have lost that game in 2 different ways. Excellent. So final game here from the Mana Trader series. We're going to have Madi on the play. Unfortunately, looks like the hand cam broke here at the worst possible time.
Yeah, that is unfortunate.
We'll see what they're taking. But as far as the hand on the draw there from Kavuza, pretty decent. Not amazing.
Well, it's great because there is that portable hole if there was a 1-drop. But there's no 1-drop, so there's no... I mean, that would still, the parity, that break serve.
Absolutely.
And so now we have a Thalia's Lieutenant.
Okay.
And I'm assuming we'll just see another Thalia's Lieutenant on the other side because Lieutenant plus...
Adeline off the top, bro.
Yeah, but don't worry. We're going to see a lot of fireworks on removal spells.
Yes. But Adeline is just a card that there's not a lot of removal for. Not only not a lot of removal for in this mirror match, but just in the format. Fatal Push for 2 drops, Portable Holes for this. Adeline's a tough card to kill. Portable Hole instead of a creature, bro.
Yeah, because you could go Lieutenant into Lieutenant Portable Hole into Adeline.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't like it.
Yeah, you're just off sequenced.
I mean, Brutal Cathar off the top, I'm slamming that.
Oh, for sure.
I'm slamming that. But we've seen them deck and stone in this scenario last game. Let's see if they do it again. But I am Brutal Catharing that immediately.
Well, yeah, because you still have that. Well, now, yeah, everything's off sequence now.
Mm-hmm.
So we can't play Eidolon plus a portable hole. We can play a lieutenant plus a deck and stone,
Which is pretty good. Or double lieutenant.
Here we go.
Yeah, okay. So now you do get to deck and stone Cathar, Adeline, or you're just like, I can't risk you having another removal spell. I'm dealing with Adeline, and that's it. But I think I'm still deck and stoning brutaling Adeline, and then Thawing, but we'll see what they end up
that's
doing.
what they're going with. I also think it's a really tough decision to make.
I think it is tough, and this easily could be wrong, but everyone's initial reaction is like, okay, I gotta kill the creature that brings back a creature that kills a creature, right? There's too much value. Magic players can't say no to that. But look at that follow-up from Kazuza. Adeline into Thalia's Lieutenant is huge.
I mean, if
it happens,
if there's not removal here to kill that Brutal Cathar and it's just playing creatures, this game is almost over.
The one thing we do know is Madi does have 4 non-lands in hand. They missed a land drop last turn and played one this turn. So that's one thing we can evaluate just by their play. And that's important to look at right now, y'all.
Since we don't have a hand cam.
Since we don't have a hand cam, and just when you are playing the game of Magic, you can learn so much about your opponent's hand by little sequencing like that. Like, that was a minor thing, right? Like, but no player is going to not purposely play a land drop there, you know?
Oh no.
Oh no, what are you seeing?
Well, I'm seeing them able to play Adeline plus Thalia's Lieutenant plus get a token and just pump these up.
Oh God.
Yeah, and they're putting it on that instead of making a 3/3.
Oh no! Is this going to be Kavuza going from deck and stone off the top to just wait and a Mutavault to add insult to injury
to add another threat on the board?
So here's the thing, bro. We play Adeline pre-combat, but do you play Thalia's Lieutenant pre-combat or do it post to get that token? It's got to be pre, right?
No, because you want the lieutenant will see that token as well. So it's either do you want it on the lieutenant or do you want it on the token?
But one thing you could think about
you want it on these creatures now for combat.
But here's the thing as well. What if you Adeline here? Yeah, I mean, we're not going to see that, but what if you Adeline and you save Thalia's Lieutenant next turn for animate 2 Mutavaults, play Thalia's Lieutenant, get him on the Mutavaults?
I don't think so, because you want that Brutal Cathar to have that counter, so they would have to double block it.
Yep.
And you want to send both of your units.
Okay, is that a 4/4 Brutal Cathar? We could double block that and get Adeline back?
Yes, and that's what we're going to have
Gotta be, right?
But it's worth it because you really want to get aspirants off the board, because if they find answers to everything in that aspirant can slowly take over the game.
Okay, so we're going to get Adeline back from Madi. If there's something like Brutal Cathar into Deckenstone, Brutal Cathar for Adeline, and then Deckenstone on the Thalia's Lieutenant, advantage back to Madi. We'll see what they have. Extraction Specialist.
That's not bad.
For Thalia's Lieutenant.
Yeah.
Yeah, the more I'm looking at this battlefield, the more I almost wanted to leave back that Brutal Cathar and not give Adeline away. Like, I think that might have been a little bit too hasty of an attack. The only way I'm attacking with that Brutal Cathar is if it could not possibly die.
Especially when you get to attack with a 5/5 they can't block.
Yeah.
But then, it's tough. I understand it.
I get it too. And it's your initial reaction too in your brain, like, attack all. They got a double, they got a 2-for-1 themselves, but it's not really a 2-for-1 since they get a card. It's a 1-for-1.
No, I agree with that. Yeah, that's tough. And
now, do you get Aspirant here for the continued value, or do you get Lieutenant?
I think the short burst might be necessary because it gives that extra counter on Adeline.
Yeah, and you could animate Mutavault as well. You could sack a clue.
You might need Mutavault for blockers.
You really might.
Or the other card might be castable. No, they're gonna go with the aspirant for they're saying we're gonna go long.
Yep.
I like it.
And they could be saying, I have Deckenstone in my deck. If I draw Deckenstone is one of those universal effects where it'll take your own too. Yeah. Yep.
All right, planes off the top.
Okay.
But since the Adeline didn't get the extra counter, now you're pretty safe to attack with
everything, right?
Well, yeah, I mean that specialist will be able to have a good block.
It will on the token regardless. That Adeline would create. That's kind of the disadvantage to Adeline, as it's a forced attacker against lifelinkers. So you might as well attack with the other human. So I think it's either attack with everything or you don't attack with Adeline because you don't give that free block to extraction specialist. So
well, I think if you're attacking with everything.
Yeah, or just the 5/5 Thalia's Lieutenant. That's your only other attack you could think about, in my opinion. And I don't know if that seems great, but that means extraction specialist doesn't get that free eat a token, gain 4.
If you attack with anything, you get a counter. You get a 1/1.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah. It's universal. It's not just Adeline. So yep, totally agree. It's all or nothing then. Because you're at 20 life. So double Mutavault. What does this attack look like, bro? That is 4, 5, 6, 7 attackers. Extraction specialist. Let's put one of those on a human.
So what I'm doing with this block is I'm animating Mutavault. I am putting the Adeline and the specialist in front of the Thalia's Lieutenant and the Adeline that I can block.
Okay.
And maybe the Mutavault on a Mutavault or a token. I might also just block these Mutavaults and hope that I draw Deckenstone for the Thalia's Lieutenant, so keep both of them into play.
Yeah, that's reasonable.
But I'm definitely trading specialist or Adeline for Adeline.
Yeah, so far that was Kavuza's big draw step here to just really pull far ahead. And you know what? If we brick a couple more turns from Kavuza and we draw some gas off Madi, this game could really flip where maybe they'll look back on that Brutal Cathar tag and be like, was this the turning point?
Yeah, it is tough. I mean, I still think advantage
Kavuza, right? Yeah. So we can go specialist on Mutavault. That is a pretty solid block. That is, a 6-point life swing
to keep it. But you definitely want to get rid of the Adeline on the opposing side.
Yeah, I think you want to get rid of the Adeline, and I think you want extraction specialist to live. I think that's the two things I would be thinking of. So, oh man, I would go extraction specialist on Mutavault, Adeline on Adeline.
I don't even know if we need the specialist to live because...
But then you get to crack back and gain again next turn, so you get to gain 4 more,
But Adeline is a vigilance attacker. Because one of them has to go. You have to trade one of them with Adeline.
Mm-hmm.
And the 2 Thalia's Lieutenants are coming in for 10 damage, so that's 14, 15, 16 outside of that.
Yeah, God, that is close.
It's tough. I mean, it's
there's
a really
no direct
situation.
answer right now. Yeah.
And we don't know what that last card is in hand.
Yep. It's probably not Deckenstone.
It's probably not Deckenstone.
Okay, Mutavault there, going for the good blocks, quote unquote, where your creatures live, your opponent's creatures die. And I mean, that's the whole goal in these aggressive mirror matches. You want to make good blocks. These matches come down to combat a lot. Like, if you got your combat down, that's a very good aspect of increasing your wins in these aggressive mirror matches. Probably the biggest lesson to learn when it comes to leveling up your game. I feel like Momir Vig was kind of the thing that helped me a lot because it's all combat. Like that truly helped my game a lot when I was a kid learning how to play Magic.
Oh, if you play any of it now with the new cards, it's all just value and ridiculousness.
Really? Okay. Yeah. Do you still not hit 7 so you don't hit Phage? I remember that being the most tilting thing. I was like, what?
Oh yeah,
Phage? Are you kidding me? Come on.
All right. So yeah, another thing that's biting this play too is that they went with Luminarch Aspirant over the Thalia's Lieutenant because what that could have done is allowed for these blocks to be flipped and eat that. The Adeline could have eaten the Thalia's Lieutenant on the opposing side of the 4/4.
Yeah. So far, this is just a block that just says I'm trading as much as I can. And when you're trading as much as you can from Madi's side, and you're like, okay, now I'm left with basically nothing, and you're left with more than nothing, it feels brutal. Because right now we're taking 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, but gaining 4. So taking 7 down to 7. I think I want to move that extraction specialist and take 2 more damage down to 5. Keep it alive,
Blocks that I would make is I would keep the Mutavault where the Mutavault's at. I put the special in front of Adeline and the Adeline in front of a Mutavault.
Okay. I would be similar, but I would have switched Adeline and specialist, and I don't know which is right.
I think winning the game with an Adeline in play is a higher chance than winning with the specialist.
Either way, they disagreed with both of our lines and gave away both creatures. Now, if they had an Adeline in hand,
so the last card might have been Portable Hole.
It was probably Portable Hole, yeah, or it could have been Adeline. If they had Adeline in hand, that makes a lot of sense to try to actively trade that away. And let's see what they're casting now. Extraction Specialist.
Okay. I liked all of their trades here.
All right. Yeah, they're good. They're good. So here is Thalia's Lieutenant to get this going, and zero cards in hand.
It's completely swung. The game is completely swung around.
Oh my god, yeah, this is huge.
With a clue left over for following turns too.
And you got to think, Kavuza looking back to giving that Adeline back, which then traded for your own Adeline.
Yeah, tried to kill the opponent too quickly, didn't try to gain the value.
Yeah. And not to mention, we still got that clue hanging around for Madi. So next turn, if Madi draws a land, well, you get another shot at it. Now do you attack? Maybe.
No, I think you've got the clue. They've only got one card in hand.
Yeah, but they have 2 Mutavaults. All right, Luminar Gasprin off the top. Not terrible, but there are no attacks anymore. The wall is up. Now, what do you put that token on, bro? A Mutavault to start getting it closer to 4 toughness so you can attack into this Extraction Specialist?
Well, that's the problem is both sides are going to have an aspirant, so that Specialist is always going to get that counter as well. So that Specialist can always just get a little bit bigger, a little bit bigger.
Yeah, Extraction Specialist is just the most high variance card in Pioneer out of these mono white decks because, like, it is either insane or it's really bad because they don't kill your creatures or they exile them, you know? But, man, in these creature exchange matchups, it looks insane.
Yeah, this has been a good back and forth.
This has been a good match. All right, a little heads up to the stream, y'all. Just in case we just disappear out of nowhere, our lovely director is experiencing some nasty weather.
Oh no!
Yeah, nasty weather. So we'll hope the stream doesn't come down. But if it does,
are we cutting? Oh no!
Are we in a tunnel? Just a heads up for y'all, just in case this doesn't end to its natural conclusion. But we should be fine.
All right, portable. Oh, the hand cam worked.
Nice, just in time.
Yeah, that's a good card.
It was because of the storm, actually. Yeah.
So we popped the clue, right?
I would. For sure. Because no matter what, you're gonna have that extra 2 mana. So I would start by popping the clue with Shafet Dunes and Cave. See what we draw. Maybe you get Mutavault in and go from there. But yeah, definitely would start by second clue if I was them.
Oh, just starting with the hole.
Now they're going to top deck Adeline. They're going to be like, dang it, sequencing. But I mean, honestly, I think that's a small misplay because if you draw Adeline off that clue, oh, Brad, that's going at the portable hole, which is unlocking Thalia's Lieutenant.
Oh.
We both thought that was going at the token, didn't we? Yeah. Forgot about that. Oh, God. Yeah, and here we go.
And that's going to get a counter. Yeah, that's pretty nice.
I mean, this has just got to be game here, right? Of course, 20 life is a big deal, but you get to get Extraction Specialist in there now, and sure, it will die because you have to kill it. You can't let that lifelinker keep going, but
it's going to get another counter, so you're going to have to put all 3 of those units up against it.
Yeah, I would do it, though. I mean, like, would you hope to Brutal Cathar it off the top? I mean, I think I would go for a trade and try to just start top decking Brutal Cathars.
Yeah, this is bad.
I would have got in there with the Mutavault as well, I think, though.
I think the Mutavault is also playing defense in case of
Brave the Elements.
Why not? Yeah, just like you're so far ahead.
But now you got to think if you're Madi, be like, yeah, if you just go to block a bunch, you don't have Brave. You know,
that's true, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, here's that big old chump block. Here is this extreme life swing, bringing Madi up to 14 life.
And leaving their opponent with 4 lands and a 1/1. All right, I mean, it's going to have to be a giant top deck. It has to just start being awesome.
Second that clue.
Okay.
Maybe you get a 1-drop and stuff.
I guess you just don't want them to get a good double block.
There's Luminar Gasprin. There's Hopeful Initiate. We might just see the concession right now. Nope. Going with the fact that they're in the finals of a big event.
Play it out.
Play it out.
It's 5 awkward moments of your life, but you might be giving up a 0.1% chance of winning, but whatever.
Exactly. All right, let's see what we draw here. Is this going to be the dagger here? Luminar Gasprin is already really tough to deal with. If there is even any more other follow-up here, like, what can you do, you know, bro?
Yeah. Luminar Gasprin is just so good.
All right.
All right, putting counters on these Thalia's lieutenants, and then the aspirants can put additional counters. Probably trying to get these creatures to 4/4s.
Probably don't attack with the Luminarch that could die, right? Like, or you, well, I guess,
No,
you put,
the Luminarch is not coming in.
Yeah, you put things to 4 toughness and you attack with the, oh yeah, I would put 1 counter on Mutavault, 1 on Aspirant, attack with the 3 4/4s and be like, you just look at your opponent and they look and they're like, oh, I don't have good blocks, do I? And you're like, you sure don't. That's exactly what I would do. And I'd be putting a grin on my face because I'm about to win the Mana Trader series featuring Pioneer here in August. Let's see if
yeah, you do want to present these trades, I guess, because another counter could let the Hopeful Initiate blow up and get back something.
Okay, so they did decide to put a 3rd counter on the other Thalia's lieutenant. So saying, you know what, you can kill a creature if you want.
But it comes with a double block.
Yeah, it comes with a double block.
And
so
it's just a trade. And it still creates a trade.
Yeah, and I mean, I would double block the Thalia's lieutenant and just go, but they've waved the white flag. This is going to be more than likely GG. We get portable hole for the portable hole
to get back your portable hole, and you can get and take one of theirs.
Wait a minute. Then you can also kill the other portable hole because you'll get a 2nd initiate counter.
And this can take out an aspirant.
Or the other portable hole.
Well, I think you want to do that because that initiate will get a counter and now be able to blow up the portable hole.
Well, this is still wrong because you should have portable hole the portable hole with Thalia's. Then you pay 3 to destroy the other portable hole, get portable hole, then do this play, right? Yeah. I mean, I don't think it matters because you also just have a cave that's going to be 5 power flying right now. Like, this is definitely a game, but, you know, those are the kind of different lines that we had available. And here's that one of Cave of the Frost Dragon that I've never seen activated in my time of playing Pioneer so far, but it's in every list. But you know what? I mean,
it's a very good land.
I think it's the worst one out of them. They're all so good.
Yeah. I definitely agree with that.
Yeah.
They never give white the awesome creature lands.
I mean, because look at this. White's already 2 busted. So many planes in the finals of this Mana Traders event.
I mean, I do agree. You're like giving white reach is something that they just don't want to do.
Yeah, good point. Good point. I mean, we've even seen it back to history of Benalia, style of white, Benalish Marshall, all that stuff. That stuff is busted.
All right, so going with Mutavault instead so they can hold up that Aganjo for a good combat. So combat can't really go poorly.
Yeah, or activate, you know, Dunes right here. But yeah, 6 life. If you just put 2 counters on that 1/1 aspirant, that is...
Now, what is under the portable hole in the bottom right corner?
It's a Thalia's lieutenant. So that is coming down.
Oh, yeah, that's...
Because that can be activated here with Hopeful Initiate. So we got to do that now. But then this Aganjo is going to lock it up in the sense that it's not... The game's not over this turn, but you get to... If there's any profitable blocks, you get to kill that. So yeah, here... I mean, these are all just basically chump blocks.
And well, it's
They all are chump blocks too. Yep, that's it. That is it. Wow. Madi Sampras coming in, winning the Mana Traders event. Huge congratulations to you. You played the deck of the tournament, mono white, 5 copies in the whole tournament, 3 of them in the top 4. That's unheard of.
And played very long time. I seem to know that matchup really well. I would not be surprised that this person's been playing white and tuning for the whole, preparing for this tournament.
You know what's even crazier though? I'm just hearing word that there were 17 copies. Adrian screwed up.
No! Adrian! There were 17 who just missed to put it on the list.
Adrian is actually looking to buy all the mono white cards. I didn't want to inflate the numbers here. So yeah, it does look like, sorry about that, y'all, but the mono white deck did have some high numbers, but still performed well.
What you're saying, we said something wrong and Twitch chat didn't correct.
Because they didn't have the information. Yeah,
that's true.
Yeah. So Adrian lied to us, made us look bad, and now admits it to us. So then we can let Twitch know. So then they know that we did a bad.
Huh?
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly.
I'm just gonna believe you.
All right. So we had our stats wrong a little bit. Mono white was a little bit more represented, but the fact that you still, you know, if you have 17 copies, that was maybe 3rd or 4th as far as the most played decks in this tournament.
Oh, Ross was excited to hear that mono white was dominating this. He's like, I knew it. I knew it all along.
No, I think that deck is really good. So congratulations to our top 8 competitors. Huge congratulations to our winner, Madi, taking it down. made it look good there in the finals, and just, really was an excellent tournament. So, thank you so much, everybody who watched this event. We love doing this Mana Traders coverage. We love being able to bring you some high level Magic on a digital platform here. Well, we get to be digital and sit next to each other and bring you some in-person coverage. So, Brothers
Ward.
But yeah, thank you so much, everybody. Bro, any closing thoughts on the Pioneer format as a whole before we get into Dominaria?
Well, it's changing next week because there are a lot of new cards coming out.
Yep.
So,
yep. And I mean, how much do you think, kind of a last thought here, how much do you think formats like Pioneer Modern change with upcoming new sets?
Well, let's start the set review right now then, I guess,
Yep.
shall we? Because no, there's a lot of cards coming out in Dominaria that are very fringe unique. There's some Murph, but there's a lot of tribal stuff.
Sure.
And
sure.
I don't really know. There could be a few new tribal decks based on just a few new inclusions. So there's going to be, not just Liliana, not just some Painlands that people didn't have access to before. There are tribal elements. There's a lot of cool new cards.
Yeah.
New standard sets, if we like it or not, are more powerful than they were before.
That's true. We haven't seen anything like Throne in a while, but you never know. We're going back to Eldraine eventually.
There's going to be a few cards. Just now, Mono White with Extraction Specialist, right?
Yes.
That's a huge Adeline was just out in the last couple sets.
White's been getting some cards.
Yeah, so I don't know what's going to change. I know it's going to be exciting to watch and tune and work towards.
Yep. The one thing we know for sure is we're going to be bringing you that action when Dominaria United comes out. That'll be the next month's coverage. That is September 24th, 25th. Mark your calendars so you can watch coverage again. It's going to be Brad. It's going to be Ross Merriam. It's going to be a really fun show. Of course, we'll have Adrian in the back making us look pretty, giving us wrong information. The normal producer stuff.
I'm not going to blame him. I never give people the right information.
Yeah, that's fair. That's absolutely. I've read your articles, so that's for sure.
Jund and Modern.
Didn't even hear by a dagger, huh?
I did, and I refused to.
I did, and I'm burying it inside, and keeping it there locked away. All right, everyone, that is going to bring us to the end of this broadcast. I want to thank you all so much for watching once again. Really love these Mana Traders event. ! Bash Bros in the chat if you want to get and try out some of these decks, or wait a week until Dominaria comes out and start brewing. As I know we're going to be doing here in all kinds of formats. So going to be some really fun stuff. We're going to see you next month. So for Adrian behind the scenes, for Brad Nelson, I'm Corey Baumeister. We'll see you all next month.